All right. I hope everyone had a good morning, a good Tuesday morning. Every single time I have to check the date because I'm a little bit slow when it comes to keeping track of time. Hope everyone had a good Tuesday morning. I was supposed to be streaming on Monday like I usually do, but shit got in the way. So, I'm doing yesterday's stream that I was planning to do today. And the stream I was planning on doing, I don't know. I was planning on doing something else this stream, but it turned out the content was too dense. So we're gonna leave that for later in the week or maybe next week because I'm getting really deep into this video that I'm working on right now. It's gonna be really fucking long. I can tell. You can tell, right? There's a certain point where when I'm working on a video, I can tell almost immediately, right? I can tell before I even get to the editing phase, before I even start putting it in my editing software, I can tell this is gonna take me a couple days, right? And it's gonna be one of those videos. I might end up spending the next week banging this one out. This is how fucking long it's gonna be. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, who Comic Explained, well, a lot of you guys, some of you guys who come from CG or anti-CG, you guys probably already know who Rob from Comics Explained is. And hold up, actually. Forgot, let me put it right here so you guys can see. Right here. All right, where the playlist, where all the VODs are gonna go. For those of you guys who don't know where Comics Explained, who Comics Explained is, he is a guy who explains comics. Very self-explanatory. He is what his name suggests. He just talks about comic book lore, beyond Omega, that sort of shit. You know, hold up. I can just show you guys. I can go in depth once we get there. Who is Iron Man and Captain America in this scenario? Honestly, I don't know if I would call Blerd Without Fear either Iron Man or Captain America. He's legit too low tier, too like indescript to fit either of those guys, right? He's like American Agent. That's what he's like US Agent. This is Captain America versus US Agent, really, is what this is. So before we get into it, I just want to go ahead and say RIP to Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson died today. And I don't know, I guess it's sad whenever anybody dies, but at the same time, he was in his 80s, and it's like, is it really sad when an almost 90-year-old person dies of natural causes? I feel like Jesse lived a pretty long, fulfilling life. I feel like Jesse Jackson accomplished more things in life than the majority of people in America. He probably died pretty satisfied. Or maybe not, because he left us with this one quote. This quote that I doubt a lot of people are gonna be hearing about when they're talking about Jesse Jackson and his legacy. We must face the #1 critical issue of our day. It is youth crime in general and black-on-black crime in particular. There is nothing more painful to me at this stage in my life than to walk down the street and hear footsteps and start thinking about robbery. Then look around and see somebody white and feel relieved. After all we have been through, just to think we can't walk down our own streets, how humiliating. This is a quote that I doubt anybody is going to be repeating when they're talking about Jesse Jackson's legacy. That is that the YN problem. Jesse was very keen to the YN epidemic that was starting to occur in the black community as early as the early 70s, right? Where drugs got really bad. And so we're going to watch this one video, this one little short clip by Jesse Jackson all the way back in the day, decades ago, in the 70s, right? And then we're going to move on.
Recently, there was a big deal made out of the fact that you had commented, you were walking down the street, and you were relieved when you looked around and you discovered that the gentlemen that were walking behind you were not black. And it seems to me that a lot of conservatives on TV have tried to gotten a lot of mileage out of that.
Trying to exploit it. I live in the heart of the ghetto. I don't live on the fringes of town. 4 people were killed on my block in a year. That killing is unacceptable. It has to stop. Young man shot to death 10 yards in front of my wife's face.
Jesus.
A triple homicide just 30 yards down from my house. And so there is
Isn't it crazy how a whole lot hasn't changed? Like, you would think he was talking about some shit happening in fucking St. Louis just a couple weeks ago.
a fear factor. That's why people got houses are turned into cages. We should be able to walk our streets and sit on our porches and walk to our stores without fear of being robbed by a neighbor. We have the burden of an ethical obligation. But I think one of the key dimensions of the Marion Barrier victory was young America turning a light of hope on and hopefully a light of dope off. If we go from dope to hope, if we go from cynical withdrawal and finger pointing to using the power of our vote and our mind and our character, we in fact can make America better.
Yeah, that didn't pan out so well. That didn't pan out so well at all. In fact, I won't say everything's gotten worse, but a lot of things have gotten worse. You know, single parent households have exploded. Drug use has exploded. Well, drugs have gotten more creative. No more cocaine. No more regular old dope. No, now it's like a cocktail of party drugs that, in a way, have even worse long-term effects than just doing a little bit of cocaine, right? Just sniff it a little bit. Gang violence is way worse. These niggas got fucking, they're walking around with arsenals. They're walking around with some military grade shit. I don't know how all these niggas get all these weapons. And, you know, this is just a new day to day. So, you know, Jesse probably was disappointed about that in his final days. I feel like they were kind of abusing Jesse Jackson because they were legit rolling this dude around in a wheelchair. He was barely cognizant of what was going on. You know, just like making use of his name and whatnot in his final days. Pretty sad. Kind of like how a lot of the DNC was doing Joe Biden. Just taking advantage of an old man who's not even all the way there anymore. Anyway, R.I.P. Jesse Jackson. Now we move on to a different type of black-on-black violence. That is Comics Explained versus Blerd Without Fear. Now, this isn't, I just want to go ahead. The guy who asked me about, is this Iron Man, who is Iron Man and Captain America in this scenario? Naheem, thank you for the $2 away. I just want to go ahead and thank you for that. But I just want to make this clear that I say versus. This is very much a one-sided little feud. This is not a nigga moment. This is not two irrational black men. This is one very effeminate leftist black dude going against another black guy who's not even really right wing, not super conservative at all. He's just not explicitly lefty or pro Black Lives Matter or whatever the fuck. And that's enough to get under Ernie, that is Blerd Without Fear's name, skin. So Comics Explained, as I said, you guys know who the fuck this dude is. A lot of you guys are. He's one of the biggest, he's easily the biggest black comic book channel on YouTube. One of, if not the biggest overall, probably top 3 on this website and shit. You know, all his videos, he gets like an easy 1 million views a week. I mean, when I say 1 million views a week, I mean like his uploads. His uploads net him like an easy 1 million per week. He really gets way more than that. We can look at his B-. If you got a B- on Social Blade, that means that your fucking YouTube channel is out of this world. That means you're doing gangbusters. So, okay, last week, only 200,000 views, right? It's kind of like off for him. He also lost 1.4K subscribers, right? Specifically on Wednesday, that's the 11th of February, he lost 10,000 subs. And this is specifically because of this drama. Now we go over here to Blerd Without Fear, right? Ernie right here. He doesn't have the septic piercing in this picture right here. So as you can see, his channel, Ernie's channel, it is not popping like Rob's is, right? He's lucky to get even 10K on a video, right? So here we got 10K, 9K, 14K. This one gets 10K, 27K, 5.8K, 10K, right? 20K is like, I don't know, that's a long shot for him. But, oh, look at this. Over 100,000 K going after Comics Explained. And if we go to his social blade, you know, we got C, not on par with Rob's at all. Man, look at this sudden boost in subscribers at the same date that Rob lost 10K with this video right here, right? So some people would say that Ernie was going at Rob out of a sense of, oh, you're not doing your black duty of talking about shit that you don't care about, right? He's one of those niggas. We're going to get to this. In my opinion, I think that this is purely clout chasing. And it was very successful clout chasing. It doesn't look like it's very successful long-term clout chasing. Because aside from this one little viral hit right here that netted him over 100K views, his next videos went exactly to where they are supposed to be, which is under 10,000. Neither of these even broke 7,000 views. So I think this was just clout chasing, masquerading as just black social justice righteousness. Anyway, let's listen to Ernie talk. Let's listen to Ernie explain what his beef is. What is his beef with Rob?
Okay, it's time to have a
Okay, hold on, let me see.
very hard conversation about what is objectively YouTube.
Nobody blacker in comics than Eric July. Honestly, I think that's true. Like, Eric July really is he is the least nerdy black nerd in comic books right now. But he doesn't get he doesn't get the positive attention from a lot of black people, from a lot of other black nerds, because a lot of black nerds in comics are liberal, left-leaning, so they don't like him, and they call him a grifter. Even though he delivers the product that people want. See, this is what I don't understand. I'm about to get to the video, but I don't understand the point of calling somebody a grifter for just delivering the product, giving people the product that they asked for. Now, we can debate the quality of the product, right? We can say that all of Eric's comics are just complete dog shit. They're doo-doo, they're dog water. There's no point in reading them or touching them or whatever. But to call him a grifter, that would mean that there's some sort of deceit. That would mean that he's robbing his audience blind. That would be that he's not giving them the product that they wanted, that they were asking for. But he does that. He does that repeatedly. He does it punctually. So he's not a grifter. You can say he's a shitty writer. You can say, I don't know, you don't like his libertarian politics if you really hate him that much. But he's objectively not a grifter. That's not what that word means.
Comic book content creator. Let's talk about it. So you guys have probably already heard the news by now. I'm sure it's already made the rounds, and the drama has already...
This is very, very presumptuous. Like, this isn't that big of a deal, bro.
...ensued. But yes, YouTube's biggest comic book content creator...
Then again, his audience is pretty small, so I can understand why he would assume that the people who watch him would know about this drama that he's gotten himself into.
...has been called a... And not only has he been called a... He's been called a by me. Here's the thing that I want to...
Look, bro, you can't do that. You cannot call other black people coons, right? Like somebody like Dr. Umar now, he can call somebody a coon because he's like super blackety black, like militant pan-Africanist and shit. You are not about that. You can wear all the hip-hop shirts and whatever you want to. You surround yourself in a medium that was created and mostly populated by white people and Jews. And, you know, white Jews. Jews are also, there are Jewish whites, there are Jewish Arabs, there are Jewish blacks, by white people. You are in a white hobby, bro.
Put up front.
You don't get to you don't get to confiscate other niggas' black cards. You can't do that.
About this, and
your black prestige score is not high enough for that.
What this video is about and what it's not about. For one, I don't care that Rob doesn't cover black characters on his channel during Black History Month. I don't even really care that Rob doesn't cover black characters on his channel unless it's convenient for him or there's some algorithmic gain he can get out of it, because that's honestly a lot of the reason why he does.
Why? What other reason is there? So what? I'm just supposed to talk about fucking Static Shock outside of? He's just supposed to talk about all the black characters at any time, no matter what, right? Like, if I'm gonna be talking about Black Panther, what better time would there be to talk about Black Panther or Black Panther related characters when a new Black Panther related game or movie is coming out? I'm just gonna randomly talk about Black Panther all the fucking time.
Does what he
What if he's not my favorite character?
does. Money motivates.
You know, I bet this nigga has never made a single video about Night Thrasher. Let me see. Let me see. How many times has he talked about Night Thrasher, the blackest character to ever ride a surfboard? Let me see. I bet he hasn't talked about him once. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, shit. He has talked about Night Thrasher at least once. 6 years ago. Okay, so he talked about Night Thrasher once 6 years ago. Okay.
Rob more than anything else. Let's just keep it a buck. I don't care about any of that. That's actually not why I agreed with the sentiment that he was. And there's actually a misconception about why people think I called Rob a. There's actually even some misconceptions.
Joe Music, thank you for $2. Ain't this clown half and half? No, I think this is a full nigga. Is he half and half? I could believe that Rob. I don't know, it gets hard to tell. You got some biracials where the black half is very, very strong. And then you got other ones who look like, I don't know, they look like octoroons, even though one of their parents was 100% African. So I don't know. Stephen Bobobo, thank you for $5. He's all Black Panther, besides the fact that he's married to a white woman with a mixed child. Oh, of course.
On Rob's part.
Always. This is why he goes so hard. It's always the niggas who have majority white hobbies and who live in mostly white neighborhoods and who have mostly white friend groups and who date and marry white people exclusively, who always have to act the most blackety black because they're trying to, you know, what's the word, right? They're trying to make up for the lack of blackitude within them.
Part as to why I called him a.
It's an insecurity thing.
And for anyone who was wondering, yes, I have actually spoken with Rob in the time that all.
Blerd is literally friends with actual fandom. Okay, I did not know that. That explains quite a bit. Who thinks society destigmatizing pedophilia will keep his kids from getting grapes.
This has gone on.
That actually explains a lot. This is very much, look, I didn't used to be one of those people who were like, well, you know what, just because you hang out with somebody doesn't mean but I feel like up until a certain point, right? Certain amount of people who you keep around you does say a lot about you. Right? Like, if you hang around with somebody who you know has like been saying weird shit about children, like a lot, and it wasn't just like a one-off joke, it was like a frequent thing, right? It like Destiny and Mr. Girl. Now, obviously, we know that Destiny is a freak. We know that Destiny is fucking subhuman in a lot of ways, but it was his long-running friendship with Mr. Girl that really got me like, yeah, you wouldn't keep a dude like this around you this much unless there was something weird going on there and you were like cool with this shit. So yeah,
actually tried
to a degree, I do very much believe in the idea of you are the company you keep. To a degree, I do. Bro Fister, thank you for $2. Performative male? No, performative melanin.
Reach out
That's
to
a good
him
one.
Before I made my statement publicly defending him.
See, here's the thing. I always believe that you guys are saying Dax and Vito. I always believed that Dax was a weird freak himself before he was even hanging out, before he even made Vito his co-host. So
from
that was very expected, to be honest with me. Him and Vito becoming co-hosts.
Allegations of such, and he kind of blew off the whole thing as if it didn't really matter or he didn't really actually care. Like, he literally chuckled it off with like, oh, LOL. Let's get that out of the way first. And after I defended him from allegations of because he does not, you know, quotey fingers, represent or support black characters, evidence to the contrary.
Why does he need to? Why is it the responsibility of a nigga to have to represent? I always have to be the ambassador of black shit. I can't just be me and then occasionally do black shit. I'm always the chief and the high ambassador of Blackistan, no matter what, if I'm the only black person who's present somewhere. That shit is so annoying. Nobody else has to do this. Asians don't have to do this with Asian characters. Hispanics don't have to do this with Hispanic characters, but black people have to do it with black characters. It's really annoying.
Came out of the woodwork, so to speak, in a Threads post that I put up defending him in video form.
Rob of Comics Explained is getting called a coon on Twitter. While I disagree, I get why. Okay, is this really a defense? Rob of Comics Explained is getting called a coon on Twitter, and while I disagree, I get why it was said. Well, that's not really a defense, is it, Mr. Blerd? Is it, Ernie? You're kind of just saying, yeah, they were kind of right to call him a coon, but, you know, I don't believe this is a very passive-aggressive. Somebody said performative male. This is very performative male activity. This passive aggressiveness, this feminine, this toxic feminine energy.
Mind you.
You know what's worse than toxic masculinity? Niggas with toxic femininity. That's just terrible. Master Blaster, thank you for, I'm sorry. $5. Why do they both sound like black stand-up comedians' impressions of white people?
Someone pointed out to me that Rob follows white supremacists.
What? Nigga, are you serious? Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic are, look, man, if Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic are white supremacists, there's no point in like any white person ever like not being racist. There's no point. You might as well just be racist, because you're gonna be called a white supremacist even if you never say a slur, even if you're never like racist to white people. If you've ever done anything like criticized a black character in a movie or a comic book or whatever, they're gonna put you in the same category as fucking Nick Fuentes no matter what. So you might as well not even give a fuck. Like, this shit is ridiculous. This is your this is where we're at. We're only 2 minutes in, and he's already calling Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic fucking white supremacists. Even your boy Zach isn't that bad. Even Richard C. Meyer, who just calls these two birthday party clowns every day, he hasn't taken that far.
Oh boy. Nuts.
Oh, he's got that fucking robot, bro. He's got this fucking robot. Dude, do you guys remember that one time I made that tweet? I made a very viral tweet. It was about the new Wolfenstein game. And I made this very innocuous tweet that accidentally went viral, as all of my viral tweets are. My viral tweets are always the ones where I'm just like making it when I'm half asleep. I'm not even like saying anything for real. But they announced the new Wolfenstein, and I'm like, man, I really wish that there were more games where we could kill communists. Maybe a game where we can kill both communists and Nazis. I think that would be very cool. I think it'd be cool if there was like a Wolfenstein-like where you play a Polish nigga and you're trying to liberate Poland from both the Nazis and the communists. Because as we know, the communists and the Nazis both teamed up to double tap that ass when it came to Poland, which is something that tankies always just, I don't know, they always just get around the fact that the fucking Soviets were happily glad to fuck the Polish along with the Nazis, literally worked alongside Nazis. They always just let that one go. But when I made that tweet, it went viral, and I got a bunch of angry tankies who came in the comments and said, oh, you're a Nazi. Oh, you're a Nazi sympathizer. Oh, you hated the fact. Why don't you join your leader, right? And they kept posting this fucking robot when they're like, oh, that's something that a Nazi would say. That's something that a Nazi would say. You know what else that a Nazi would say? A Nazi would say, you should be nice to animals, because that was something that Hitler believed. A Nazi would say, you know what we shouldn't do? We shouldn't put black people in cages and like have them in human zoos, because that's something that Hitler believed. Hitler actually shut down human zoos. You know what what a Nazi would say? A Nazi would say women shouldn't drink when they're pregnant, because that's another thing that Hitler believed. Hitler actually pushed women and children not drinking or smoking. So I guess, you know, if you're pro all of those things, if you're pro animal rights, if you're pro children not smoking or drinking, I guess you're just like Hitler, just like I am apparently.
There were people, when I talked about this publicly online on Nerds of Culture just this past week, there were people who tried to come to me and to his defense saying that, oh, well.
Stephen Bobo, thank you. Thank you for $5. I can boil down this whole argument in 3 points: tribalism, nerdy gatekeeping, and crabs in a bucket mentality. Oh, it's definitely crabs in a bucket. The problem with Ernie here is that, as we've already shown, Comics Explain, Rob is just like way, like it's not even close. In fact, hold up. Let me go ahead and use the compare feature. Let me show you. Blerd without feet. Oh, look, right there. You can't even see it. It's literally all the way at the bottom, bro. Okay, let's go for views. Oh, it's not even in the same weight class. It's like atom weight versus a super heavyweight, right? It's fucking insane. It's like Mighty Mouse versus fucking it's like Mighty Mouse versus Mike Tyson, basically. Just ridiculous. So you can't crab in a bucket somebody who's already out of the bucket, right? Like, bro is out of the bucket. He's on the moon compared to fucking Ernie over here.
He's probably only doing it for research, or he's probably only doing it for this, that. And here's the thing. I want y'all to stop, because y'all actually gave him an excuse that he later parroted in a video response to that, getting out. And I want to point out, in this video, which I believe was like almost 10 minutes long, he spent almost the entirety of the video talking about Blue Marvel and a bunch of other ancillary bullshit, and then waited till the last minute of the video to address the fact that he follows white supremacists, and he treated it almost
okay, look, dude, the fact that you think, and this is why it's hard for me to make a video about leftists, because they're so mentally in another dimension. They're so beyond that I can't even reason with them. They're so unreasonable. They're such fundamentally unreasonable people that it feels pointless. It feels pointless to make a video about them. If you actually believe that Nerdrotic and the Critical Drinker are white supremacists, that they are on the same level as somebody in the KKK or some shit like that, there's nothing that I could ever say, that anybody could ever say to you, because you're already starting from a place of such irrationality that nothing I could say could ever reach you. It's pointless. It's pointless. I might as well just like make fun of you and just tell you to go eat a dick and go somewhere, because talking to you like a human being isn't gonna go anywhere.
As if, and I'm not
It's why when I made the Comicsgate video, I barely mentioned actual fandom, because first off, he's small potatoes. He's a fucking nobody. Even in his prime, when he was really going at Comicsgate and all them, and Eric July and all them, none of those guys paid him any fucking attention, because he's always been a nobody. But also, he's a super delusional far leftist. You can't talk to somebody or talk about somebody like that in depth. You just gotta like dismiss them on principle.
One of the things is there was a lot of people who were responding to me pointing this out. A lot of people were even saying that it kind of felt like one of his explainer videos, like the way he framed it, the way he kind of danced around everything and then didn't really talk about the thing that supposedly he was there to talk about. But at the end of it, when he did actually talk,
the thing is, if you make fun of a right-wing grifter, left and right will agree and laugh. If you make fun of a left-wing grifter, the right will laugh. The left will defend it. That's actually very true, right? It's like we saw that recently with Milo exposing Sarah Stock and Elijah Schaefer, and everybody on the right, except for, the worst of the degenerates, the worst of the undesirables, like Nick Fuentes and company, those people came to defend him. Everybody else on the right was laughing. We were clapping. We were making content out of it. I say I didn't actually talk about it in depth. But everybody was going at them. If something like that happens on the left, a lot of them are going to fucking circle the wagons and shit like that when that happens. The only exception I've seen is stuff like H3 versus Hassan in his circle. And that's because I don't know, that's almost like an ethnic, it almost feels like a religious ethno conflict over there. Hassan versus H3H3, just real Jew versus Muslim shit.
Talk about it. And
I mean, I don't want to look at it that way, but that's how what it feels like.
I want to make something clear here. I personally addressed him before giving my opinion.
Yeah, the quartering was another example
On this. And I'm gonna tell you, matter of fact, before I tell you what he said in that video that didn't make any goddamn sense, let me talk to you guys about what actually happened in that DM exchange. Basically, to start the whole thing off, on February 5th.
Oh, he's spilling DMs. Wow, this really is peak toxic femininity. This is something that Ethan Van Sciver would do. Homie trying to be FD signifier going at Tyler Perry. Thank you, Naheem, for another $2. Bean, thank you for $5. Leftists like this are essentially religious zealots if you swapped out a belief in God for slavish devotion to the state. That's basically what it is. That's something I figured out a long time ago. These dudes kind of, I don't want to say that all atheists have to replace God with something that they're zealously devoted to, but a lot of them are. There are a lot of people who cannot function without some sort of religion to keep them based, to keep them grounded. They need something. So a lot of these people is like, well, we're not Christian because Christians are these right-wing evangelicals. They don't have any sort of rationality. They're bigots. They hate gays and trans and all this other shit. So they just choose these secular ideologies or whatever, and they treat those like their new religion. And there's nothing you can tell them. Right? It's like if you pick something, if you pick like an ideology or philosophy or the science, as some people do, to be your new religion, well, that means that unlike religion, you can be proven objectively wrong. The thing you believe can be proven objectively wrong. So what do you do if the thing you believe in is proven to be objectively wrong? Well, this isn't a problem if you're just a religious person, because it's all about faith at the end of the day. I believe that Jesus will save me. I believe in the words of the Prophet Muhammad. So it doesn't really matter what you tell me. That's just how I believe. I move in faith. You can't say you move in faith. You move in facts. And if the facts prove you wrong and you still believe anyway, well, you're just a fucking retarded slave.
I said, hey, caught a glimpse.
If you believe in Marxism in 2026, you are a retarded slave. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. We've been over this. The latter half of the 20th century was basically just a crash course in how Marxism is just the worst or second worst ideology ever created by man, along with fascism. Well, you know, actually, hold up. Second or third worst. The actual worst is anarchism, because all that anarchy does is make a power vacuum for communism or fascism to then move in. And then they battle it out for who's the second worst. So, you know, if you're still a Marxist in 2026, you're retarded.
On Twitter.
Same thing with fascism, really.
All the shit going on over there. You good? ? And once again, he messaged me like a few hours later saying,
Comics Explained might just be a coon. How are you the biggest comic book YouTuber and a black man and not have a series over the most impactful black-owned comic book company of all time? Why would he need to do that? I said this on Twitter. Milestone really wasn't that big of a deal. I'll be honest with you. I got nothing against Dwayne McDuffie. I think he actually deserves a lot of accolades. He put in a lot of work. He has had some highlights in his career. He's a very respected comic pro legend, irregardless of any of the shit he did, irregardless of race. It doesn't matter. He's just, on merit alone, he deserves his accolades. But Milestone very much was just, it's a FUBU comic brand. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you take away Static Shock. His name is Static, by the way. We call him Static Shock because of the TV show, which is where 95% of people know Static. And like, well, it's 90% of people know Static from Static Shock, and 10% know Static from Young Justice, and the remaining 5% know him from the comics and shit like that. Let's be real. And then there's Icon. You take away Static and Icon, What is there left about Milestone that people care about? Like, let's be real here. Let's be for real here.
Always, LOL. Now, this is before I found out that on Twitter, he follows very well-known white supremacist Gary, was it?
I know irregardless isn't a word, but doesn't it sound like a nice one to say?
Is it Belcher?
It has literally no meaning. I remember I looked it up years ago because I was saying it. I was saying it so much. So I decided, somebody told me, you know, irregardless isn't a word. I looked it up. I looked up the definition of irregardless. It was the exact same meaning as regardless. Like, it's a fake word. Somebody just put the ear in front of regardless because they thought it sounded good. I don't know. I kept doing it.
I don't know, maybe he was a Bob Burgers character, I don't know. But otherwise, Gary, aka Nerdrotic, and Will Jordan, aka Critical Drinker, two people who are at the forefront of many of the racist and, you know, just outright bigoted across the board, not even just racist, but like homo.
Like, what do you mean? How? What have they done? I don't understand, bro. Like, what are they doing? What are Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic and Mauler and all those other dudes, what are they doing besides making fun of bad media made by leftist people? What are they doing?
Transphobic.
Are they out here burning crosses when I'm not looking? I don't understand.
Really, just
they're like some secret YouTube channel of these guys that I've never heard about where they're like, I don't know. I don't get it.
About any kind of phobic you could add to it that would be just completely ridiculous for a person.
Danny, thank you for the 1,000, what is that, Hungarian dollars? I think that must be a lot of money. As a Hungarian, I can never understand Westerns being communist. Thank you for the content. Have some Monopoly money. Thank you, brother. Well, you know, the people, it's very hard for communists in the West to understand how devastating it is because they've never had to live in it. They've never had to live near it. They have no idea about how destructive it is. See, you go somewhere, you go to Poland, you go to Hungary, you go to any of these former Soviet bloc countries, you talk about how great communism is and how awesome Stalin and holy shit, did I forget his name? Lenin. Literally their names sound identical. You talk about how great Lenin and Stalin are, you might get your ass beat. A Ukrainian might actually beat your ass for talking about how awesome Lenin and Stalin are. It's like, what the fuck? It's like praising Hitler in front of an Israeli, dude. He might choke you out. He might choke you out for real. In Westerners, they don't understand this. Dave, thank you for £5. Some atheists can become dogmatic about their beliefs to the point that I consider it pseudo-religious. Dawkins himself has fallen into this trap. Yes, he did fall into it, but eventually he started referring to himself as a cultural Christian. Now, he hasn't started believing in God. He just has recognized that the country and really the civilization in general that he grew up in was so heavily influenced by Christian values and traits and heritage and all that stuff that it's kind of ridiculous that a lot of atheists tried to tear it down because all they did was, I don't know, kind of empower Islam to fill in the vacuum, because there are a lot of British Muslims, and I'm not trying to speak down on any of those brothers, so long as they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and they aren't assisting any grooming gangs, but they very much are about their religion in a way that a lot of Christians in the UK aren't. In that vacuum that has been left has caused a lot of problems. Quiet Rider, thank you for $5. This is the nerd version of the opening of the first Stinkmeaner episode in the Boondocks. Yeah, this nigga is just hating. Benjamin, thank you for $1.99. Is this how you look, Mikey? No, I have a full head of hair still. I have amazing hair genetics in my family. None of the niggas in my family, none of the men, the middle-aged men, some of them are partying on the sides. None of them are completely bald unless it's by choice. So I'm pretty good. Future is looking pretty bright for me when I hit this dude's age. Stephen Bobo, thank you for another $5. Rob should kick Blerd's ass or sue him for defamation.
Person to feel.
How tall is Blerd? Rob might be able to kick his ass for real.
About another human being.
You know, there's this thing in the black community where niggas think that light skins can't fight, but you know, you'd be surprised.
And yeah, he follows them. And when I saw that That was kind of my canary in the coal mine, which, to be fair, there should have been others. Rob's done plenty of dumb, problematic shit before.
Oh, he's using That's the first giveaway. That's a dog whistle. You know, problematic is a dog whistle for dumb leftist bullshit. That's what that is. That's what that word is. Whenever I hear somebody, see, if you're left wing, I got no problem with you, so long as you aren't like obnoxious. And it's the same rule that I have with right wing people. So long as you aren't obnoxious and you aren't just being like a bitch, we can be cool. But if I hear you say problematic about something that's not even that big of a deal, I know from that point onward, okay, you're one of those people. This is going to be, I'm about to get into one of those situations with you because you said that word. Gator, thank you for $1.99. Mikey been hitting nerds like Brian Dawkins. They won't chill out. These nerds they're going out of control. Son of the D, thank you for $7.50 ISK. I can tell this guy has never met an actual racist before. As best, his trolls who successfully got under his skin and never got over them. Oh yeah, this dude. You can tell this nigga never grew up in the South. He never grew up in the deep South. He never grew up. I don't know, dude. I used to hang around when I was in high school, right? You would have dudes. There was this group of just super country white boys, and they would drive throughout the parking lot, fucking doing wheelies and shit in their truck. And the truck, it'd be like some Duke of Hazzard shit. It would have a Confederate flag hanging high on a pole off the fucking back of their truck and shit. And they would be blasting rap music. I'm not making this up. This was common. It was very common for country Confederate white dudes to just play rap music when I was going to high school. So I don't know. I grew up in a very different cultural environment than a lot of these dudes from LA or New York or Chicago. Not shitting on any of you guys, because, you know, obviously some of you guys are from those cities. Those are the biggest cities in America. But I'm just saying, it's different. It's different down here. There's different levels.
But yes, that was my canary in the coal mine. And I want to make something clear. This wasn't something that like, oh, he had just started following them. He said that he started following them 6 months ago in that video I kind of alluded to earlier. But either way, he doesn't follow very many people. He follows like 215 people. And while
yes, Ethan Ralph Maxing, there were a lot of, obviously, you know, they weren't exactly like Ralph, but there were a lot of pseudo Ralphs that I knew growing up.
List I looked at didn't show all 215.
Oh, Potato is me 6660. Miss my super chat last stream. Need that song in repeat. What song are you talking about, bro? Just mention it to me. Just at me in chat and tell me what the song is. I'm sorry for missing your super chat, by the way. I hate doing that.
Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic were damn near at the bottom of his follow list, which, for those who don't know, if you're on Twitter, you look at someone's follow list, whoever's at the bottom are the people that person has been following the longest. Let's get that out of the way. But then he comes back later after I saw this evidence and then said, yes, okay, maybe.
The one from the start of the Nick F moments. Okay, hold on. I'll put that in chat in a minute.
You guys were right. He is a I actually said that.
Wow. Holy shit. I haven't been on Twitter in like 2 years. My shit is 200% deleted, so I can't see shit on there anymore. Okay. He's one of those guys, one of those bitch-made ass niggas who ran away from Twitter because they couldn't handle a bit of banter, which is all that is. All these dudes who ran away from Twitter, who deleted their Twitter accounts because they couldn't handle the hate, like this guy and Review Tech USA and Movie Bob. They're on Blue Sky or whatever. It's because they wanted a hug box. They wanted a leftist hug box so they couldn't get bullied anymore. And they probably weren't even getting bullied that badly, right? Like somebody like Chibi Reviews, in my opinion, gets pressed way more than any of these leftist accounts ever have. Like, dudes be wishing death on that dude, like, constantly. Some dude, like, went to his brother's grave and desecrated it or something, right? Actual insane harassment type shit. These dudes, they just leave and they delete their accounts because, I don't know, right-wing people or centrist people just meme on them. Very bitch-made. But now this screenshot is sitting in front of me, and yeah, I was wrong. Y'all are right. Rob is a coon.
on Threads. And then apparently, I guess he saw it, which, I mean, honestly, I wasn't trying to hide it from him. The reason why I didn't, like, reach out to him immediately when I saw...
You should have added him then, pussy.
All that shit is because...
At the nigga's Twitter handle then. You know, if you want him to see it so bad.
Because I knew how long it would take him to respond. Because typically when I reach out to Rob, I think this was in 2024, I hit him up. It took him a few days to respond. So if I literally would have sat there, there's a high probability that it could have been a while. I remember one time I said, hey, there's something you wanted to talk to me about. And he was like, yeah, I'll hit you up in a day or so. And the next time that I heard from him was when I reached out to him over a year later. So I just want to point this out, that Rob doesn't talk to me the way that he might try and make it seem like he talks.
Why would he? Who are you, bro? Why does he need to talk to you? Again, let's look at this real quick. As you can see, Ernie, Rob is he's a very busy man. You know, he makes more videos than you. He's getting more views than you. He's got way more subscribers than you. He's making content. He's busy making content people actually want to see. He can't be preoccupied with your Negro nonsense, bro. He can't be preoccupied with your crab in a bucket BS. Also, you know, you're calling him a coon and stuff. I can understand.
To me,
there's you can tell this dude is probably unbearable in DMs.
I'm not in his inner circle. I'm not like some of his other, you know, content creator peers where he's buddy with like Sal and Comic Drake, so on and so forth. I barely know the guy. Yeah,
all the big comic channels. All the big comic book YouTube channels, all the people he actually talks to, the people who are clouded up, unlike me.
Outside of the conversations you all have seen us have.
Again, Ernie is a very good example about why having a big subscriber count doesn't matter. This dude has 120K subs, right? Like, that's like 4 to 5 times my sub count. Look at the views he gets. Look at this shit, dude. Like, this drama video he made about Rob, this is his best viewed video. Bro, I make that shit. My latest videos get as much as that. You know, I'm not trying to flex. I'm just trying to show you sub count don't mean shit on this website. Not like it used to.
You on social media or like in a video or live stream or something like that. But then we go on to say, you know, Rob.
Primaral. Thank you for $4.99 for the CG doc. Thanks for speaking facts in the online comic space. Most black nerds can't do that, case in point. Looking forward to CG2. Keep it up. Thank you, bro.
Rob sees the video. He messaged me on Discord, and I kind of give him about roughly the same treatment he gives me. I didn't immediately respond. I actually saw that he...
This is so... I don't know. I'm putting down the ladies a lot. I don't mean to do that for any ladies who are watching this. But this is very... I don't know, this is a very feminine way to respond. I'm giving him the same treatment that he gives me. He doesn't give me the treatment that I want. He doesn't give me the attention I think I deserve. So I'm giving it right back. I don't know. It's very... I don't know. I just feel like this isn't how a man should act.
It messaged me and was like,
be a bit more mature, bro. You want to talk to somebody. Maybe he was busy. Maybe he's genuinely busy and he doesn't have time to just talk to any random person. Again, he's a very big YouTube channel. He's got a lot of viewers. He gets a lot of people. There's probably tons of people who get in his DMs. I'm not that big of a guy. I just have random people in my DMs, just like sending me emails every once in a while. Yo, no telling how this dude is like a gazillion times bigger than me. He probably gets DMs from people all the time. YouTubers who are 3 or 4 times bigger than you. He can't give attention to everybody evenly. Your buddy Brady, thank you for $10. So I know the saying about crack being introduced to black communities and the saying about HRT being introduced to nerd communities. Are Blerds way more susceptible to these drugs than other? Yes, honestly. Because, I don't know, I looked it up. I'm pretty sure there are more black trans women per capita than there are white trans women per capita, something like that. So yeah, I do think that like black people are more susceptible to HRT, just like we were more susceptible to crack. I really think it does come down to just a lot of it does come down to living in inner city environments too much and also growing up in single parent households. You know, singularly, those things are problematic. When you start to compound them and then, you know, you get the problems that come from that, then that's when things start to get kind of crazy. So yeah, probably.
Okay. And moved on with my day. I went and, went to a hip hop show, hung out with my kid, did the husbandly things, you know what I'm saying? And then, I was, just doing other stuff.
Husbandly thing? This is how you, is this how you treat your wife? Right? This is how you guys just go passive aggressively back and forth?
I even did a live stream that day too. I was like, hey, I'm gonna give him the same energy he gives me. When I actually finally got done with my day and came back and read, I saw that it said, hey, I saw your
Gigatod Howard Real, thank you for the $2. Mikey is the first BIPOC to understand per capita. Well, I mean,
video.
It's a very straightforward concept. I don't know why so many niggas don't seem to understand it.
Though I didn't realize you felt that way.
Like the first time I saw crime statistics when I was young, first time I was just like looking up FBI shit, and I was just curious because, I had an existential crisis. It was when I had my first existential crisis about death, and I was very obsessed with looking up serial killers and shit. I remember how it happened. Is that I had these friends. Of course, they were white. Of course, it was my white friends who introduced me to this. They were looking at a bunch of the gore website, at a bunch of the death websites. They were looking at Mexican cartel execution videos particularly, and they were just like going through those, and I was just watching it with them, and it gave me like an existential crisis about death and murderers and serial killers and shit. So I started looking up crime, and I started looking up FBI crime statistics and shit. And I saw the number for blacks was smaller than it was for white people. But then it's like, well, black people, we're a much smaller population than white people. So I guess if you actually adjust it, we're probably committing more crime in adjustment to our number than compared to white people. So, I always thought it's very self-evident per capita. I never understood why so many other niggas were confused by this.
And which is kind of funny because when he's talking about the video, I actually didn't say anything negative about him in the video. I just pointed out how Rob runs his channel and what matters to him. So I don't really know what.
Funky Town is pound for pound worst video on the internet, dude.
What there is to be angry about.
Funky Town was what convinced me that there's really no coming back from Mexico with the cartel issue, right? There's no way that they're gonna safely recover. Either the cartels are gonna have to be wiped off the face of Mexico, or the United States is gonna have to do some sort of military intervention type shit like we have with other terrorist organizations, because that's what they are. That's what the cartels really are. They really are just domestic terrorists for Mexico. Shit, some of the execution videos, including that one that I've seen from Mexican cartel niggas, are basically on par, if not worse, than some of the shit I saw ISIS doing to people.
That I was like, and I even was honest and said the thing that he even admitted later that he doesn't know shit about Miles.
I would not purport to be an expert on Milestone comics, right? I mean, I could lie and say that I am.
Most people are.
But
a lot of the dudes who a lot of the black people you see praise Milestone comics, they didn't read those books. They read a handful of the biggest comics with the biggest characters like Static and Icon, and that's it.
Anyone who's knowledgeable about Milestone could...
Nobody, if there were people who were actually major fans, if there were so many of these black fans of Milestone comics, Milestone would have already been getting movie deals, and DC would have been making deals with them so they can get more of these characters in games and on movie screens and shit, and in TV shows, but they're not. So I'm sorry.
Trust me for 5.
I don't hate Milestone. I just think that it's mostly mid and forgettable, except for a handful of comic characters, which it is. Oh, Fug, thank you for $20. My melanated brother, are voter ID laws actually going to prevent neighbors from voting? The dumb ones, sure. See, here's my thing, right? Here's my thing about voter ID. Because the argument from certain people is that, well, you can't do that because there are people who won't be able to vote because they don't have any ID because it's so complicated, it's so convoluted to come up with your fucking driver's license or any shit like that, right? You know, basic ID that any functioning member of society is always carrying on them anyway, or they could just immediately get access to in a short amount of time. That would be too much for them to vote. In my opinion on that, if you can't do that, you shouldn't be voting anyway. If you can't give the most basic form of self-identification so you can vote, you shouldn't be voting in the first place, because either A, you're a criminal, right? Like there's something wrong. You're a criminal, you're a crazy homeless person, you're some pariah to society, or B, you're just dumb, and dumb people shouldn't be voting to begin with, right? So I don't know. I feel like if the people who actually would, which would be a minority, most black people can come up with some form of ID to fucking vote in an election. It's not that complicated. It's actually super fucking racist. It's actually super fucking racist. The amount of white people who just think that niggas are so dumb, we can't just pull some ID out so we can go and vote in the polls. It's actually really racist that they think that this is going to be a massive issue for black people. But also for the people who it is going to be an issue for, you are too low IQ to be deciding on the fate of this country in any way, at any level, whether it be a municipality or the government itself, right? You shouldn't be voting, period. So that's how I feel about it.
Minutes and figure out that I'm full of shit, right? And making the statement that I'm knowledgeable about my own stuff.
And then he messages me, like, I think almost a couple of hours later, basically saying that, well, I guess your thread video and your comments agreeing that I'm a... And it's kind of funny because, once again, he's mischaracterizing the situation. In that video...
Is he, though? It's literally what you believe. It's literally what you said. You called him a coon. Other people called him a coon before that, and you agreed with him. Your audience also agrees he's a coon. Like, all of you guys called him a coon multiple times. That's literally what happened. You're trying to say you're mischaracterizing it. No, bro. That's what you said.
No, I never said he was a... So that lets me know.
It's another thing about these guys, and this is why, again, you don't argue with fringe leftist type dudes, because they don't believe in the meaning of words, and they're like fundamentally bad faith. You know, they always say, there's always this thing like, oh, you're arguing in bad faith. You aren't debating this issue in good faith. Leftists have to be fundamentally bad faith actors, because so many of the things they believe make no sense and do not hold up to any level of scrutiny. Like, there are so many ideas that these people believe. A lot of the things I'm saying can also apply to a lot of things on the far right too, you know. But it's like there's so many things that people on the far left believe that can be completely dismantled with just the simplest employment of the Socratic method. It'd be easy, right? So they have to bullshit and say things like, you're doing this, you're saying that in bad faith. Oh, you're mischaracterizing this. Oh, you're sea lining. Oh, you're dog whistling. Oh, you're weaseling. All these phrases, these catchphrases and words and shit are just get out of jail free cards, so they don't actually have to argue their dumbass points that make no sense and that they couldn't defend. Merrick, thank you for £5. I'm glad voter ID is finally bringing about a minimal IQ requirement for political engagement. Still too low, but you'll take what you can get, right? Yes, and that's why it's a good thing. There should be, right? You can't do it, right? This is one of the only form of eugenics that I'm actually pro, is minimum IQ test in order to decide on certain issues of government. Obviously, you can't put it too high, because there are a lot of people who are very high IQ and who believe some very, very dumb shit, right? Like, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked how many people are really like in that upper high IQ range, and they just vote for the dumbest fucking shit. They have like the worst ideas on the planet. There have been people who were legitimate geniuses who still unironically believed in communism or fascism or whatever. It's crazy. So you gotta let the laymen. Sometimes you need the laymen to protect the brilliant people from themselves. Sometimes the common man needs to bring the genius back down to earth before he tries to ruin everything with his highfalutin ideas, you know? Vince12, thank you for $5. Social media made y'all too comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. True.
Oh, he didn't actually watch that video. I actually was very defensive of Rob. And here, I'll show you what I said. Okay, so I saw people cooking my man shit on the artist formerly known as Twitter yesterday, and I saw it kind of escalate a little bit more the past few hours, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit and kind of maybe give some...
Water is not H2O. Vouch? Did he actually say that? Giga Todd Howard, did Vouch actually say water is not H2O? Thank you for the $2, by the way. Well, I guess he did also unironically defend lowering the age of consent, and he tried to portray it as a very righteous thing, right? It was some shit like, I forget exactly what the argument was. You know, hold up, real quick, let me see. I forget what the argument was, but I talked about it once in a video, so we can look at that in my least viewed video.
This story contains mature subject matter, including discussions of suicide and medically assisted death. Viewer discretion is advised.
That one makes me laugh. That's one of the only things that I've ever done. Like, usually I don't laugh at my own shit when I look back at it, but that little opening still makes me laugh. Let's see. This is back when I really didn't care about monetization. I still really don't care that much, but this is when I cared about monetization the least, so I would just do whatever I thought was funny. Now I'm like, I'm getting to the safe edginess, which is, I don't know. There's a video I'm probably going to end up having to say nigger in, and I really don't care about censoring it, so I might just, I don't know.
Both will be using these two niggas, Vouch and Amos Yee, discussing age of consent.
Explain the age of consent take. Yeah, I said that my thought at the time was that you could justify having an age of consent of like 16 or whatever. The idea for that being that since economic exploitation is a huge metric for abusing children, if that was no longer a concern or a metric by which you could abuse people, it wouldn't be as much of an issue.
See, this is what happens when you base your entire ideology on a fucking socio-economic system like communism or socialism that don't fucking work. What do you mean? If you take away economic disparities, then really there's no reason why you shouldn't lower the age of consent. How the fuck does that make any sense, bro? Like, what do you mean?
I actually want to raise the age of consent now. I think it's actually...
Oh, he wants to raise it now. Wow.
Because I don't...
Do you, though? I don't know, man.
I think it's not primarily economic stuff.
I mean, you say so, but you know, we learned some shit later, so I'm not sure.
It's actually social stuff.
Do you think that that kind of relationship should not happen? That just because the child was below 18, that relationship that was perfectly harmless should be considered child rape? No, that's absolutely ridiculous. Nobody was harmed.
Amos Yee, by the way? Dude who got busted for having actual CP, right? The dude who Sargon once defended because he thought he was just being ironic and he was joking to own the libs. Yeah, this nigga recently got deported from the United States. They sent that nigga back to Singapore. He's probably gonna get lashed up, gonna give him like 50,000 lashes, and then they're gonna throw him in a cage for the rest of his life. Very based. Very based. You love to see it. You love to see it. Anyway, back to this. Wait, no, this is wrong. We're watching this.
Perspective. So yesterday, Rob was called for not uplifting, black comics and black comic creators, black superheroes, stuff like that during Black History Month. And while I think the person who threw that label at him was kind of out of pocket, I also have to admit that there is a reason.
Actual Fandom says that the folder corn Vouch accidentally showed on stream wasn't CP. That dude is a Vouch defender who swears Vouch isn't. See, look, dude. Here's the thing. If you're gonna be somebody like Actual Fandom and you've made those type of arguments, you should know that just by associating with anybody else, you make that person look bad, right? Let's say, I don't know, it's like if I have a drug addiction, let's say I'm somebody who's known for having a really bad drug addiction. Niggas know I love me the cocoa, right? And I know that somebody else people are accusing them of having a bad drug addiction. I'm not going to come and try and defend that person because I know that people know that I'm a junkie with a problem and that they're going to think that I'm covering for that guy to somehow cover for myself too. I'm going to keep my mouth closed because otherwise I'm just going to make both of us look badly. But again, actual fandom doesn't have any self-awareness, so he doesn't think that far ahead. Snitzel Rada, thank you for $2. Will you do a video on the Birdman in the future? I think I know who you're talking about. I'll look it up in a second. I think I know who you're talking about. Hold on.
Maybe why there is this perception. Now, let's go ahead and just clear the air here. Rob has talked about black characters on his channel before. As a matter of fact, he
not enough.
Once did it to his detriment.
He's got to talk about everybody.
He is a lot of the reason why a lot of people know who Blue Marvel is to this day, and he is the biggest comics YouTuber out there. That's not a lie. It's literally fact. It's a fact. But
he does have the biggest one. Hold on, let me see.
In the past, when he has tried to talk about black stories, like case in point,
what was that?
It's literally fact. That's the reason why a lot of people know who Blue Marvel is to this day, and he is the biggest comics YouTuber out there. That's not a
okay. So he is the biggest. I thought he was just the biggest among black comic YouTubers. He's like actually the biggest. Wow.
Lie. It's objective.
Yeah, being black is exhausting. You see how like he's the biggest comic YouTuber, but because he happens to be black, other black people come to him and bring him this bullshit and like make him have these problems and have these issues that he doesn't care about. Like this is now your responsibility. We're now foisting onto you all these responsibilities. You are accountable to these pressing matters within Blackistan, even though you don't care about it, even though that's not even your brand, right? You didn't even blow up off of talking about black comic characters. So it's like, okay, that's just it's just what it is now.
It's literally fact. It's a fact. But the problem is that in the past, when he has tried to talk about black stories,
Abigail, you didn't know that he was black? Well, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people didn't even know what he like looked like. A lot of people legitimately do not know what Rob looks like outside of his little icon here. His little icon here that he puts on his thing. They don't look at his face because all he does is he talks about comics. He just makes content. And I feel like this is the goal. I feel like what Rob has going on is the goal for a lot of black people. I mean, it should be the goal for black people, which is be a successful person not despite being black, but just be a successful black person for reasons that have nothing to do pertaining your race. Rob being black has nothing to do with his success on YouTube at all. He doesn't even show his face at all, right? But that's not good enough because now it's like, well, hey, light-skinned nigga, you're black and you're also, you clouded, you at the top of the hill. You owe the rest of the community shit, even though the community has never gone out of its way to do anything for you specifically. See, if the community did stuff to you, here's how I feel like, right? Let's say if you're black and you're successful, but the reason why you became black and successful is because of the community. You have a majority black audience and you were talking about or doing things that were super pro-black, like you were a black activist and shit like that. Okay, you actually do owe the community something because the community literally blew you up. The majority of Comics Explained fans are not black. Most of them are white, right? Only a minority of them are black. He doesn't even talk about black characters that much unless they're the popular ones like Storm or Black Panther or Blade or some shit like that, right? Black people, Blackistan has no factor whatsoever in his success. So he doesn't owe them shit because they didn't help him get to where he's at, right? He doesn't, if anything, he owes comic book fans in general for his success.
Stories like case in point, I remember once he did a video about Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Yes, kiss the ring. This is the thing. If you're a black person, you get to a certain position, niggas are going to come out and they're going to ask you to kiss the ring of the community that didn't really do a whole lot for you.
America when that was first a thing, and his audience.
Dave7244, thank you for £2. We have voter ID in the UK now. Most countries do. Of course, it seems like a very common sense thing, especially when there's so much illegal immigration going on, not just in the US, but just in several countries these days, right? I feel like everybody should have voter ID. It's the most basic form of IQ test you can do for society, too. It's just, can you give me your driver's license to prove that you can, you're legal to vote? Can you do that? If you can't do that, then maybe you're just not fitted to vote in an election. Hey, Emmanuel, thank you for $4.99. But Mikey, our ancestors toiled in the comic fields and were sent to the back of the convention shuttles. We have to keep the memory alive.
Crucified him for it because his audience is largely white. This is why he doesn't talk about black characters.
See, he just said what I said. His audience is mostly white. Why the fuck does he care? Why does he care about talking about nigga issues? Why, like, that's not his responsibility. And those guys aren't even like the rest, other black people aren't even the main reason why he's huge in the first place. If he wanted to, then it's fine, but he doesn't want to, so leave him alone.
And I would also say you're also really only going to get black characters out of him that are like, that he knows from Marvel and DC. He's not really going to talk about black characters outside of that, and let's keep it a buck. Those characters are white-owned in a lot of cases. Really in all cases, because, you know, the corporations themselves are white. Now, if you want to, you know, talk about Milestone, which I saw other people like Jay Penumbra bring up, that he doesn't bring up Milestone. There's a lot of other.
See, okay, here's another thing, right? At the end of the day, okay, yes, they are white-owned. Here's the thing. Outside of movies, when it comes to just comics, the most popular properties in comics are not white-owned. They're Asian-owned. Specifically, they're Japanese-owned, right? Like, it's one Japanese manga. Again, Demon Slayer outsold or nearly outsold the entire American comic book industry. It outsold DC and Marvel comics combined at the peak of like COVID. Like Demon Slayer was running shit during the COVID era, bro. Fucking lit up New York Square. Literally, Times Square was covered in Demon Slayer at one point. Hold on, let me bring that up actually. That time when Demon Slayer just took over New York. Look at this shit. Look at this shit, dude. Look at this shit. Look at all these brands, bro. Look at that. All of these brands. But man, get that shit out of here. We know we only care about one thing. Demon Slayer. No, when was the last time any fucking, outside of a movie, you know, maybe you could say, okay, Marvel movies, whenever there's like a new Batman coming out, whenever there's a new big Marvel honestly, I don't even think Marvel. I think Marvel post Endgame has never been on this level of big again, where they just took over. They just briefly took over the biggest city in North America. Right, so it's like saying fighting over comics owned by white people. Who cares, bro? The most profitable comics in the world right now are owned by Asian people.
People brought this up as well. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Rob doesn't know anything about Milestone. He doesn't read Milestone, at least not to my knowledge.
Who does? How many people actually know anything about Milestone for real? Except maybe 5 or 10 black comic book nerds. Joe Music, thank you for, hold on, let me see. Oh, George Oswald, thank you for $5. I've been watching Comic Explained for 10 years. To be honest, I forgot he is black. Who cares what color his skin is? He covers comics. Joe Music, thank you for $2. You can tell he likes the sound of his own voice. Joe Mama, thank you for $1.99. White owned, but Isom Rippaverse right there. Oh, that doesn't count. Eric July's comics don't count. Even though he is, Eric July is objectively the biggest dude in comics, right? The biggest black guy in comics right now. Like in the world, he is the biggest black guy in comics in the world. They don't count him because they don't like his politics. And he's not even right wing, for real, Eric July. He's not even pro MAGA. He's just a right leaning Christian libertarian. But that's enough. George Oswald, thank you for $2. Yeah, but what about Sir Duncan's Trial of the Seven? Bean, thank you for Trial of the Seven is actually pretty good. Bean, thank you for $2. This is what mentally butt broke your boy Zach.
I'm talking.
You know what? Yeah, this probably was. That probably did do something to him. He's been hating. I'll bring it up in the video, but he went off on one because of Demon Slayer. That did something to him, right? He was calling it about a bunch of kiddie shit about how if you like anime, he was doing the boomer anime thing, like things that boomers were talking about anime in the fucking 90s when Pokemon was starting to become popular in the US and stuff like that. He was talking like that about Demon Slayer. It's like, look, dude, you already lost. Like, this is an old man yelling at clouds type of thing. Like, nobody cares anymore, dude. The young people, I'm sorry, they like Demon Slayer. They like Attack on Titan. They like Jujutsu Kaisen. They like Naruto, right? They like One Piece. I'm sorry. That part of the culture war was lost. While you guys were over here arguing about how many LGBT plus flags need to be in this Superman comic or this Batman comic, the Japanese were taking over the comic book industry in the Western hemisphere. And now you can't go into a single Barnes and Noble where 90% of the comic section isn't just a manga section.
Or both on a hot mic and off mic. And you can even go back and look at, past Blerd caves where he's come on. He's openly admitted he doesn't really know much about Milestone. He doesn't keep up with Milestone. Rob doesn't really read many comics outside of, like, cape shit, as far as I'm aware.
Do you do that? Hold up, bro. That's you, too. What do you mean? Okay, let's see. X-Men, Black Panther. Let's see. Culture War shit. X-Men, Superman, X-Men. Let's see. X-Men. Man, a lot of X-Men, a lot of cape shit, bro. Does X-Men not count as cape shit? Okay, here goes Static Shock. And okay, Iyanu. Okay, that's something that's not cape shit. And then we got Batman, we got Superman, we got, I don't know, bro. It seems like this is what I was talking about when I was saying that this video was fueled a lot by jealousy. I really do think this is just, he's seething because Comic Explained is way, way, way bigger than he's been or will ever be. And also, he doesn't even share his politics. See, if Rob shared his politics, he would maybe give him a pass. But the fact that he's cool, again, we're going to get to it. Rob ain't even like super right wing like that. But if you're not exactly in the lane you're supposed to be, it still isn't enough. So this is just some crab in a bucket type shit. This dude is mad. He's jilted. He's jealous. And this is him being a clout chaser. This is a clout goblin video.
I mean, at least most of what he talks about, like anytime we're like, when I've talked to him and brought up comics that weren't like big two comics, he generally wasn't aware of like what was going on. That
also, Milestone is just cape shit. Like you're saying, he only reads cape shit. Milestone Comics is just black cape shit. That's all it is. That's the only difference. Hold on, let me look it up. Let's see. Milestone Comics. Let's look at it. Wow, man, look at that. Look at that right there. And oh, hey, look at that. That's black cape shit. These are just superhero comic characters. These are just superhero characters, but they're all black, except for the one white guy who's probably the villain. That's all this is. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Milestone ain't interesting. Milestone ain't no fucking indie out there Image comic published, Dark Horse comic published comic or some shit. It's cape shit.
It's the same for Milestone. I think he only really knew about Milestone because of Static, and not even because of the comic Static.
That's 90% of people.
But because
90% of people only know Milestone because of Static.
The Static Shock animated series. to the point that he...
Again, and 95% of people only know about Static from the Static Shock animated series.
He even calls Static Shock, even though that's not actually Static's name. Yeah, that's another story altogether, though. But if you want to know why, that's why.
So then I respond.
It's like complaining about people only knowing about Blade from the OG movies or from the recent Deadpool movie. Of course, most people do not read Blade comics, bro. Majority of people who know Blade today, they know Blade about those OG movies from the early aughts, about the cameo appearance in the Deadpool movie, or from Marvel Rivals, or, you know, from Midnight Suns, or some shit like that. Majority of people who engage in comic book media today, they don't do it from the comics. The comics are just, it's like IP sharecropping, essentially. It's just a way for them to keep the IP in circulation and every once in a while create a new character or something, because some of these old characters are going to end up in public domain eventually.
And that's why I hit you up to check in. I wanted it straight from you. I honestly can't lie and say it doesn't break my heart. You actually fuck with racists like Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker. Fuck the video shit. You cover what you want. I stand by that. But you can't give me a reason that would make sense to me why you fuck with people like them. They are OD racist, insidiously anti-black.
How? What do they do? Can you give examples? These dudes just say shit. They just say, this is the most racist, most bigoted, most transphobic, homophobic, misogynistic, evil, fascist, and then they never give an example. Because if they were to give the example, it would be something like, Ironheart is a mid-series, or something like that. It'll be something like, America Chavez wasn't that good of a character in the Doctor Strange movie. You know, it'd be some dumb shit. It'd be some shit that a normal person would look at and be like, well, that doesn't seem like they're racist. It just seems like they didn't like this specific aspect of Cape shit that just happened to have a non-white character involved.
Two of the most homophobic and transphobic men in our circle. Others, seeing you follow them, pretty much endorses their bullshit. I hate to see it, and it made me seriously question some things you've said and done in the past now. Try to make me understand. I'm willing to listen.
No, you aren't. Nigga, you are not willing to listen. There is literally nothing he could say outside of actually using some Jedi mind trick to brainwash you, to convince you of what you already believe.
Maybe I got it.
You are set in stone from the beginning.
Wrong.
See, this is a trap. When they say stuff like, look, man, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to engage with you, bro. I'm willing to let you convince me that I'm wrong. This is just a trap to lull you in, give you a false sense of security, so then they can start doing all of the mental raping that they're going to use to try and gaslight you into doing what they want or believing what they believe. That's all this is.
I'm willing to.
This is fundamental. This right here, disingenuous as fuck. This is fundamental textbook example of bad faith.
Give grace, but I can't promise I'll like the answer. Now, Rob responds a little bit more immediately than what he would normally do, and I'm going to tell you why, and it's because of two reasons. One, he was angry at me, and two, I'm willing again.
Yeah, there's so many times, Black Mailer Hack, there's so many people who will immediately call you racist, or if you're black, a coon, if you don't like Miles Morales. I don't even hate Miles Morales. I just don't care for him. I think he's boring. I think the most interesting version of Miles was the OG version that Bendis created in the Ultimate Comics, where, I don't know, his uncle, he had an interesting dynamic with his uncle, where his uncle was kind of like an anti-Uncle Ben of sorts, whereas Uncle Ben was trying to convince Peter to do the right thing, but Peter just wanted to do what he wanted and use his powers for his own use. And then Uncle Ben ended up dying because he wasn't a hero. He wasn't being a hero. He could have stopped the dude who killed Uncle Ben. Miles's uncle was like the opposite of that. Miles's uncle was a villain, right? And in his last words, he ended up dying accidentally because of Miles, because Miles was trying to be a hero and save the day. His last words to Miles was like, hey, you and I are kind of alike. And then he dies. So he's like an anti, he's like, whereas Uncle Ben was this moralization agent who encouraged Peter to be the greatest superhero in the Marvel universe. Miles' uncle is like the opposite of Uncle Ben, where he's a demoralization agent, and he stopped Miles from being a hero for a while. He traumatized him from becoming a hero, and Miles had to go through this whole character arc and get over that shit. And this interesting dynamic that they just do nothing with. We can't get away from Uncle Ben with Peter Parker. Miles' uncle might as well not even exist. That whole arc, in my opinion, the only real iconic story arc that Miles has ever gone through as a character, it doesn't carry over. New Miles writers, they don't care about anything. They just want to make him a fucking black shonen protagonist. Because a lot of these comic book writers, they aren't even comic book fans like that. They watch anime and they read manga, which is why there are so many homages in all these comics in anime. I mean, in all these homages and all these comics and comic book movie and media about anime, because these dudes, they watch more anime and read more manga than they do read American comics.
Campbell, he was hurt.
Oh yeah, and also they forget that Miles is half Puerto Rican, Abigail. He's not half Mexican. You wouldn't know that because nobody ever mentions it. And the only time where the movies ever brought up Miles's Latino heritage was when he was talking to Miguel in Spanish once. And then Miguel like got on him because he was doing it badly.
He had hurt feelings. I can promise you that, because the way he was responding to me basically just kind of gave the game away. It almost kind of reminded me of times when like, you have like a breakup, like you got somebody you're dating and then like, y'all break up and like, while y'all might talk all the time, but like people are really like quick to fire back responses, and like some of those responses feel kind of petty and whatnot.
Your problems with him are very petty.
That's what it kind of felt like to me. Yeah, and which is wild considering I don't think we were.
Why should I not meet your pettiness with my pettiness? Why do I deserve to give you more? Like, look, dude, you already started off this whole thing with calling him a coon, and then you tried to play the nice guy routine after that. No, bro. You started this discussion by saying that I'm a coon, that I don't know, misappropriating my blackness. I'm not being black enough, or I'm not being a good black guy because I'm not using my influence for black causes or praising some bullshit black comic book characters. Like, who gives a fuck? Yeah, I'm gonna be petty towards you because this ain't good faith.
Really,
you ain't coming at me in good faith. You're coming at me for an argument.
Like close. I think I was actually one of the few black people that Rob interacted with other than his wife. He claims he has other black friends, but I find that doubtful.
I know you don't. Well, okay, look, bro. Rob has a black wife. You have a white wife. So it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like first off, this is pointless regardless of what you guys think the answer is. It's pointless and it's petty as fuck. But if I have a black wife, but I don't have that many black friends, does that make me like less or more black than if I'm a black guy with a white wife and I have slightly more black friends? Like, who is blacker? It's just pointless.
Based on some things he said and done. But then he sends
Deep Fried Coco, thank you for £4.99. They gave Miles an energy sword in comic now. Ain't you excited? Aren't your dopamine spiking?
In this video.
They try so hard to make him cool because, I mean, they have to here's what they had to do. Marvel has realized that originally the plan was this was back during the all new, all different Marvel days when Comicsgate was at its peak, when your boy Zach was at his peak. Because I admit, he did help put me on to a lot of this shit like a decade or so ago when he was like just getting started and whatever. But back during the all new, all different Marvel days, they were trying to replace all these characters. They sincerely were trying to replace all these fan favorite classic characters with new ones, with new diversity hire. They were trying to DEI-ify all of Marvel as much as they could. All of it failed. Literally all of this shit failed. Miles is actually one of the more successful examples because he stuck around in some form. But the people will never accept him as the new mainstream Spider-Man. It's just not going to happen. In Miles' defense, Marvel has tried to do this multiple times with other Spider-Man character. They've tried to replace Peter Parker, and it never worked. Niggas love Peter Parker. There are certain legacy characters you can replace. Peter Parker ain't one of them. He's like trying to replace Bruce Wayne. It's not gonna happen. No, people want their Batman, Bruce Wayne, and people want their Spider-Man, Peter Parker. They don't want it any other way. I want my stake in one way and one way only, brother. Oh, no, don't keep that Miles Morales shit away from me. So they have to differentiate Miles in some sort of way if they want him to stay relevant at all. So they don't want to, what you would think is that, okay, first, give him an actual cool name besides just Spider-Man, because people just keep calling Miles Morales Black Spider-Man because that's what he is. Not just racially he's the Black Spider-Man, but like his costume is black, right? Like, so he's the Black Spider-Man in every way, right? So he doesn't have his own like unique name. It also, so they're like, okay, instead of just giving him storylines, instead of giving him like unique storylines that solidify him as his own unique character, they keep trying to give him powers, all these pseudo electrokinetic powers, because every black character in fiction has to have electrokinesis. I don't know why. I don't know why 80% of electrokinesis characters are black. I don't know why we were designated as the niggas who control lightning. But, you know, that's how that happens. So they keep giving him all these electric powers and shit to try and make him cool. And look, hey, look, Peter Parker can't do this. Peter Parker doesn't have the Venom Blast. He doesn't have an Electro Sword. He can't do this little energy burst shit like Miles can. Nobody cares. But hey, you know, certain black dudes hype it up on Twitter. So I guess that's enough.
Again, this is like a almost 9.5 minute video. He just dropped the video, like he said, hey, watch this, and we watch this video, and this is gonna answer all your questions. And while technically he was correct, it answered all my questions, I don't think I gave him the response he was hoping for, because my immediate response to this video was, I said I was right. I wasn't gonna like the answer. I was like, I don't follow either of them or anyone like them, and yet I'm always aware of the racist, hateful shit they—
How is that okay, I don't follow either of them or anyone like them, and yet I'm always aware of the racist, hateful shit they say. How could you possibly be aware of all of the racist, hateful shit they say if you don't follow them or follow anyone like them, follow anyone in their circle? How do you know then? So let me guess. Somebody shows you, somebody like, I don't know, actual fandom, actual retard, actual faggot, just like shows you a clip of them saying something out of context, and you decide to run with it. And look at this shit.
Say, I have plenty of ways to suss that shit out without giving the appearance of endorsing them. How would you feel if you knew I followed Charlie Kirk or Candace Owens or Donald Trump or David Duke?
Okay, dude, David Duke is in the same category as Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump. Maybe Candace Owens. Honestly, I feel like Candace Owens might actually be David Duke tier. At least when it comes to Jews, she might be David Duke tier. But Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump, like, come on, dude.
Would that shit sit right with you? And Rob's response, honestly, I kind of saw coming a mile away. And it was basically what let me know.
You already know what this dude's response was to Charlie Kirk getting shot.
Yeah,
you already know.
We were done. Like, whatever it is that anyone thought we were, that shit wasn't happening no more. And he basically said, it wouldn't matter to me because it has no effect on me or my life, but you do you, home slice.
This is a perfectly valid response to you just like giving all this bullshit. Like, how am I supposed to respond to this? Like, what are you even saying, right? Because you're basically saying, right, you're calling me a coon, and now you're also saying, I don't know, I'm a self-hating racist who hangs out with white supremacists and shit like that. And also you're likening Charlie Kirk to fucking David Duke. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, how am I supposed to engage with this? This doesn't affect me.
So when I saw that, honestly, I was going to leave it right there. But
that is the perfect response to somebody like this. Somebody like this comes in your DMs and they just start barking nonsense like, blah, 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 white supremacists, blah, 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 fucking structural racism, blah, blah. You just say, okay, bro, I'm sorry about that, or I'm happy that it happened to you, and I hope you have a good day. And then you don't talk to him anymore.
Then, like about 30, a little over 30 minutes later, he comes back and says, "Oh, and one last thing, as far as giving the appearance of endorsing them, you just found out I followed them today or yesterday. I've been following them for over 6 months. If I was endorsing them, you would have found out a long time ago."
He caught you. He caught you.
And he posts a screenshot.
Oh, you didn't read that last part. Now fuck off, Ernie. Why didn't you read that part?
I was endorsing them, you would have found out a long time ago.
Why did you leave off the now fuck off, Ernie? Why'd you do that?
And he posted a screenshot of, you know, part of the thread, like the thread that I had put out. Which is kind of funny because he posted it about roughly around the same time that I was typing the message that I'm showing you guys now. I actually sent it immediately after. He didn't respond, which honestly, I don't care. Yeah, it is what it is.
Stephen Bobo, thank you for $2. I know of Blade from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Oh, I forgot he was there. You know what? Hold up. Yeah, the Spider-Man cartoon actually did. It was so popular. Well, this is something that Marvel did with a lot of their cartoons. It's very smart, is that they use their cartoon more so than DC, I would say. DC did this when they started doing the Justice League. But Marvel was ahead of the curve, in my opinion, with Spider-Man and the X-Men cartoons, where they use them as giant crossover platforms. Spider-Man more so than the X-Men, in my opinion. The X-Men was mostly mutant related, but Spider-Man, he was, you had Blade, you had Punisher, you had all these characters from these different series and franchises and shit. Gerald H, thank you for $5. The way dudes were slobbering all over Blerd's video, I thought it was better than this. Yeah, you would think so, right? Quiet Rioter, thank you for $5. Did anyone remember Black Thor and how offensive that was? Oh yeah, Black Miles Morales. Oh yeah, that was somebody. You know what's crazy? What's funny? No, not Black Miles Morales. Miles is already black. This guy. Here we go. Let me just read this. Okay, so this is Miles Morales as Thor. Midgard, long ago, old Yggdrasil spread. Then the world tree grew in Brooklyn instead. Immerse as we traverse the universe. From the vast multiverse comes this dope verse. The stars shine upon the realm of gods. Forge mighty battles with his squad. Where's the lightning go after wars are won? What victories lie for the son of sons? He's got style and he's got flair to boot. With his kicks, you know he's in hot pursuit. Old enough to know that he don't know all. He wants to have a ball before the fall. All his dreams rain from the clouds above. He brings the thunder. Best believe it, bruv. Of the 5 realms. Look, bro, look at this shit. Niggas are graffitiing all over Yggdrasil. Asgard got graffiti. Look, bro, this is not a good look. So, okay, niggas get their own version of Asgard. What do? They start throwing sneakers on top of the power lines. They start climbing up it. They start graffitiing all over the fucking walls, right? So this is what niggas literally get. They get access to Asgard, to Valhalla, to just the purest version of white man's heaven. And they immediately just ruin it and turn it into niggistan. Just graffitiing it up and just littering it with bullshit and whatever. So, of all the 5 realms, Asgard is his hood. Asgard is a hood. Niggas get access to Asgard and they turn it into a hood. Not to Wakanda, right? No, they turn it into a hood. For Miles, you can see he's just that good. This was written by a black person, by the way. The Rainbow Bridge takes him to his quest. The Bifrost line goes north, south, east, and west. The Jormungandr to the Wrecking Crew. He's stuck Gullenbuster in the Asgard Zoo. but he is low-key when he wants to be. Name on his marquees like his uncle Loki, Odin's son. He's the son of gods and kings, got so many wins. Check out all those rings. He's formerly known as a prince for sure. His subjects and friends, they just call him Thor. This is the most... First off, this shit is not like Miles at all. There is nothing even remotely like Miles Morales is not this type of nigga. Miles Morales is a Blerd. That wasn't just a movie thing, right? Like, the movies actually made him less of a Blerd than he is. He's super Blerdish. He's super Blerdish in the comics. And this does not reflect his character at all. They gave this comic to some random nigga, and they turned him into the most stereotypical nigga to ever come out of Brooklyn, period. Oh my God. It is kind of racist when you think about it, but a black person wrote it, so, you know, who cares?
But my response, I thought, even in that, was gracious.
Oh yeah, and Stephen Bobo, thank you for another $2. I like electric and fire powers. I do too.
Because I saw the fuck off after, like, because like literally right as I was hitting enter, he had sent that. He sent the now fuck off part. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. I was like, you know, let the chips fall where they may. I was like,
no, you weren't. You were planning on making this video as soon as that happened. When he told you to fuck off, you immediately got heated. And you know what? Man, I'm gonna make a video about this. I'm gonna get you, nigga. That's exactly what you were thinking about.
We are officially enemies now at this point.
Really? We are officially enemies after he told you to fuck off, after you insulted him twice and came into his DMs saying that he associates with white supremacists. Now you're done. Okay.
That's what that is. But basically, I just said to leave.
Like, he thinks that everything he said and did up until this point was completely justified. It was completely valid. He didn't do anything that was op-worthy. But Rob just telling him, hey man, get the fuck out of my face. Calling me a coon. Calling the people I associate with white supremacists. Get the fuck away from me. Like, he thinks that that's op-worthy. Just telling you.
Where it was sure, whatever. Anyway, hope you get your shit together, dude. I used to have a lot of respect for you. Like, seriously. Fuck views, fuck subs, fuck internet fame, fuck rubbing elbows, fuck all of that. This all lives matter, MGTOW.
Look, dude, it is 2026. Stop it with the Black Lives Matter shit. That shit was a scam, dude. And it wasn't just BLMGNF, like the Global Network Foundation. All of the chapters are scams. I covered it in my video. It wasn't just Patrice Cullors. It was all these dudes running all these small BLM chapters too across the country. On the West Coast, on the East Coast, in the South. They're all like that. It's just a way for niggas to grift money. Nothing good has come out of Black Lives Matter, bro. There's a fucking court battle. They're suing each other. Because the dudes, they took all that money in 2020 and 2021. They never passed it down to any of the chapters who did want to do anything. They couldn't even get the ability to do anything. Like, kill me with the whole, oh, why are you saying all lives matter? Well, should I say Black Lives Matter and just give it to some grifting ass niggas who ain't gonna do anything for the community then?
Nazis might be right bullshit you're on is next level weird. Please seek help.
What does MGTOW have to do about this? I haven't heard about MGTOW in years. I'm surprised. See, here's something I've noticed. I've noticed that when it comes to a lot of these lefty types, they are very, very, very far behind in, like, the revolutions, what chapter that the right is in the culture war. Like, they have no idea. Like, I'll say this about the left. The left did a very good job in capturing institutions, but as far as, like, what chapter of the culture war that they're in, they're very far behind because they keep bringing up shit like the alt-right. The alt-right has been dead for almost a decade. Like, the alt-right died in Charlottesville. It died very, very violently. Like, Richard Spencer, he was the top dissident right guy for a minute, right? He was well known. He was talking to celebrities and shit. He just went poof as soon as Charlottesville happened, and the alt-right was dead. They were deplatformed all across the internet almost instantly after that shit went down. And they still bring it up like it's a big deal. Like anybody remembers who Richard Spencer even is, bro. Update your culture war lexicon. Come on, guys.
Bullet point of that video he sent me was basically to say that he follows Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic because he gave some screed about his dad telling him, oh, you got to know what both sides are saying. You got to know what both sides are saying. Okay, I'm sure your dad actually told you that bullshit, but
look how, see, this dude is a perfect example about why you actually do need to listen to what both sides are saying. Because he doesn't listen to what both sides are saying, and he's a fucking retard. He thinks he knows anything. He says so much shit here that is objectively wrong. Things that he doesn't even, he's so ignorant. He's so ignorant, he doesn't even understand how ignorant he is. It's like trying to, it's why you can't explain to little kids like that dragons aren't real, that unicorns don't exist, that the tooth fairy actually isn't picking up their teeth after they put it under their pillow, that Santa actually doesn't come to deliver them presents because their brains are so undeveloped they can't even fathom these things. It's that level of ignorance. He can't even fathom how dumb he is, how retarded he is, right? And this is why you have to listen. You have to actually look at shit.
Here's the thing.
It's like, if you really want to shit on Marxism, you got to read some Marxist bullshit. You have to know your enemy. If you hate fascism, but you haven't read anything by any fascist authors, you haven't read anything written by Hitler or by Mussolini or by Franco or by any of those guys, I'm sorry, bro. You don't really know what you're talking about yet. You have to know your enemy.
I don't think he told you. I don't think he told you to actually follow them, to actually you have their shit show up on your social media feed. I'm almost positive that might
use the block button.
Not have been the.
That's why I don't understand these dudes who they run away to Blue Sky or run away to Threads. Just use the block button. If you're gonna be that much of a pussy, just mute people or block people then.
Exact sentiment.
You can control what your timeline looks like.
Getting into the whole conversation, right, about one of the, people started to figure out that, I follow Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic on Twitter. Yeah. I mean, if somebody tweeted out and asked that question, do you follow Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker? I would have been like, yep. Now, why do I follow them? Because when I was young...
Look how big his house is, bro.
My dad gave me a really good piece of advice, which was this.
This nigga, right? Look at this. See, he's doing this. He's filming this in the stereotypical nerd lair. Meanwhile, we go to Big Rob.
I follow Critical Drinker.
Nigga, the house is so big, you can hear his voice echoing. It's booming. Fucking ceilings are so high. The walls are so far apart.
And Nerdrotic on Twitter.
And this is just like a room.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody tweeted out and asked that question, do you follow Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker? I would have been like, yep. Now, why do I follow them? Because when I was younger, my dad gave me a really good piece of advice, which was this. He said, if you're going to...
My dad, see how he says, my dad, another black man who was raised in a 2-parent household.
Stand for something. Then you need to know what the other side believes. And you need to know what the other side stands for. And you need to listen to what the other side has to say.
See what happens when you're raised by, when you're black and you're raised in a 2-parent household? You end up in a house with really high ceilings and your voice ends up echoing because your walls are so far apart.
Not because you respect them, not because you like them, but because you are not right 100% of the time. And they are not wrong 100% of the time. And how could you possibly know whether or not...
This sounds like common sense, right? But there are a lot of people who legitimately don't believe this. There are people who really don't believe that their enemies could be correct about anything. They believe that the people they don't like are wrong 100% of the time. I don't even believe that Nick Fuentes is wrong 100% of the time, maybe 80 or 90%. But there are times when Nick has a take and it's like, well, okay, that makes sense. Oh no,
You're
it's
right.
like there are people who just believe that anybody who doesn't agree with them is just fundamentally wrong about everything ever. It's crazy.
You reject any opinion other than your own. At that point, you're just confirming your own views over and over and over again, right? And so that's why I follow them. I don't like or respect Critical Drinker or Nerdrotic, and I have no problem admitting that publicly. If I happen to bump into them at a Comic-Con, and they're like, oh my God, your comments explain, we're huge fans, do you want to get a beer? I would just be like, no. And then I would leave, right? But I do listen to them because it's entirely possible that they have an opinion out there somewhere that actually changes and it gives me reason to rethink my own viewpoints. That maybe I'm not actually as right as I've been telling myself I am this entire time.
This is a sick Negro.
Really? That's sick Negro worthy? That's worthy of this reaction image right here? Somebody saying that, man, you know what? I'm not right all of the time. There are people who I don't disagree with who could possibly make a really good point, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about something. But it's like, no, that's sick Negro logic right there. Thinking that you're not 100% right and that other people you disagree with aren't 100% wrong all of the time.
Real talk.
That's another one. That's another one. I said problematic is one of those, it's one of those, what did I say? What did I call it? Fucking dog whistles. This is another dog whistle term, right? Along with problematic. Real talk. You hear somebody on the left and they say something like, they say real talk. They're about to tell you the fakest, gayest bullshit on earth.
If you need a white supremacist, if you need to follow a white supremacist, two of them, you
just, again, you're calling Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker white supremacists. There is nothing that anybody could say to you after this. You are too far gone. You're so lost in the sauce of your own ideology that milquetoast nerdy white men who talk about mediocre movies from Hollywood got you pressed like this. There's nothing I can say. He's at the same level of mentally fried as Richard C. Meyer. He's a lost cause.
Never mind, two completely different white supremacists in order to make sure that you're on the right side of things, or you're hoping that they can give you some information that's gonna maybe change your worldview on something.
Again, the dude who ended the first European leader to get rid of human zoos, to make human zoos illegal in Germany, that was Hitler. Again, the dude who started a campaign to stop children from smoking and drinking in Germany, that was Hitler. Now, I'm not saying that Hitler, being strangely, weirdly pro-animal rights and anti-children drinking or smoking makes him a good guy. I'm just saying, sometimes people who you disagree with, they can make a good point here or there.
Something like, look, if you ever find yourself in agreement with a white supremacist, you need to revisit.
See, he can't even explain, he can't even extrapolate on his own points because they're fundamentally retarded. He can't go into detail. He can't really explain his thesis or his points because they're all bad, and he knows they are. This is why he just talks in circles and he uses these buzzwords and all these weasel phrases to get out of having to go into shit in detail so he doesn't sound stupid and disprove his own ideology. Me Master OG, thank you for $5. A bigger scam than BLM is COOF. It's almost 2026 and the MSM is still beating a dead horse. If you still fall for it in 26, you deserve Biden's second term. I won't say that COVID was just like completely just fictitious. I will say that somebody who I know and who I'm close to recently went to the doctor. They found out they had COVID and they were around everybody else in the family, including my elderly parents. Well, my parents aren't that old. My dad is very gray in the head though. So, and everybody in my family was fine, including the little baby who, nobody knew this person was sick. And they had COVID and we're fine. There's no doubt that some of us had COVID in the few days where we weren't aware this person had COVID. So yeah, I'm just saying it's not as deadly. Maybe, I don't know, maybe herd immunity kicked in and we're all just strong against it now. I don't know. Cartman, thank you for $1.99. Bros fighting so cringe. Jesse Bros fighting so cringe. Jesse Jackson said, I'm out. Yes, he was tired of us niggas. He couldn't take it on Earth anymore. He went up to Valhalla with Charlie Kirk and George Floyd. Lucky 8 Meme Thief, thank you for $5. Blerd seems jealous that Comics Explained is comfortable with his blackness more than he is. Yes, he probably is.
Yeah. Please seek help. I don't need white supremacists to let me know that I'm on the right side of things, okay? Maybe if you're morally compromised or morally bankrupt, and honestly, I think Rob is. I also think he is...
What? He's morally bankrupt? What does he do? Because he disagreed with you? Like, bro, far leftists are insane. Like, they're actually... Me disagreeing with... If you disagree with these people once, you may as well have just stabbed the baby. For real. You might as well have just threw a puppy in a wood chipper. As far as they're concerned, you just committed one of the gravest evils possible. You disagreed with somebody about bullshit political issues. So now, like, you're evil. You're irredeemable. You got to get on your knees and kiss the ring and adopt a bunch of political platitudes you may or may not actually believe in, just to ever be even partially cool with them again.
Got some anti-blackness in him. Because he leaps at opportunities to shit on other black people.
It was literally just you. Are you other black people? Is that your middle name? Your whole name is like Ernie other black people, whatever the fuck your name is? Like, what do you mean?
It's kind of funny because I've seen him actually talk about...
See, this is a dude. He thinks that he is the high ambassador of other black people. He thinks that he's the high ambassador of black nerds. You don't even have the clout to be able to fulfill that position, Ernie. I'm sorry to tell you. You don't represent anybody but your own retarded black ass, bro.
How like, oh, the people who are the most racist to me are...
Yeah, this is very white woman coded, very liberal white woman coded, very Karen coded behavior.
Are other black people, other people of color, they're the most racist to me.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
But literally, I saw him doing...
That was real shit, though. That was real shit.
Like
who does she think she is? Angel Reese.
Like, someone actually told me about how
Angel Reese has to work like 4 or 5 different jobs because basketball alone doesn't pay the bills. She's a podcaster. She models. She does Instagram shit because, being a WNBA star doesn't pay the bills like that.
He used to talk shit about Angel Reese for no other reason than the fact that she was a black woman.
He made one meme.
Honestly, that right there in and of itself is a whole other host of problems, but to get us back on task...
That ain't even like for Angel Reese in particular. That's for all of the WNBA. They really, really, really overplay how popular the WNBA has gotten. You would think they're living in a renaissance. They still don't make money. The WNBA is still functioning at a loss. The WNBA has been functioning at a loss for its entire existence. Right? It's a charity league. I'm sorry. And you know what? Some of those hoes in the WNBA, they probably could, they might beat me one-on-one. No, they probably couldn't because they can't dunk.
The reason why I took umbrage with him following white supremacists outside of the obvious is that it's like, well, here's the thing. I don't really follow anything that I don't want to see.
Supreme Gaming, how the fuck does she model? She has a fat ass, and that's enough depending on what you're modeling for.
Like, I can keep up with what Nerdrotic and Critical...
See, before modeling was very strict, you needed a very distinct look, both in your face and your body type. But these days, if you have a really... I don't know, if you like Sydney Sweeney is also... She's not really... she doesn't have the female model archetype, right? She's just hot. She just has... really big tits, right? She has a nice body, but that's enough for her to model in some tints and some pretenses, right? Certain contexts, that's all they need. They just need a really sexy blonde girl with big titties. Angel Reese, she has fat thighs and she has a big ass. So, sometimes I just need you just need some tall bitch with a fat ass to just get into some Daisy Dukes, and that's modeling now.
Drinker and heels.
They aren't on the level of people who fucking walk. They fucking do the catwalk or whatever, but
versus Babyface and Young Ripper and Melanie.
She's mid. Well, she's in the WNBA, so
Mac and Geeks and Gamers and all of these other people.
A WNBA 10 is like a 6 anywhere else.
People who kind of traffic in white supremacy and just very bigoted and misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic views.
All of the words. He's just all of the phobias and is now. He was mean to, this is all because he was mean to Ernie in DMs because Ernie was coming at him weird.
Kind of traffic.
Ernie told this nigga to fuck off, so now he's like
in white supremacy and just very bigoted and misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic views. People who are literally like they brush their teeth with anti-blackness. I don't.
Oh, that's cool. Like the most cartoonish races. You would think they were lynching niggas. You would think that they were literally just picking niggas up off the street and just hanging them up by trees and then lighting up dozens of crosses in front of them. The way he's talking, these dudes are just saying that Ironheart wasn't that good. These people are just saying that that the latest that Zendaya actually isn't a 10 out of 10 baddie. She wasn't that good in Dude. That's all they're saying, but that's enough for guys like this.
Follow them to know what they say. I know what they say. I have ways.
Yeah, and he would say 100%. He say the same shit about Eric July.
Ways of finding out what they say.
Eric July would actually be an even bigger coon than Rob is, because Eric is actively monetizing the coonishness by becoming a comic book company owner.
I don't need a play-by-play, blow-by-blow of what they do. And honestly, that's what you get if you follow somebody. Now, once again, he only follows 215 people. And just based on how my social media algorithm works, I follow over 1,000 people.
Why? That's kind of crazy. You follow over 1,000 people. Why? That would get kind of I feel like once you start following 1,000 people on Twitter, of course your algorithm is going to be shit because Twitter doesn't even know what to do with you. How can you have 1,000 interests, right? Like on Twitter, how many people do I follow? I follow like maybe 200. And some of those accounts, a lot of those accounts are like, they're me following certain detractors of people who I talk about, like Review Tech USA, Nick Fuentes, Cometscape, people like that. Some of it are just like the bigger, like gaming news gaming news accounts. I follow those so I can be in the know and stuff like that. Meme accounts, I'm just looking for shit. Maybe anime accounts so I can look at some shit that maybe I want to watch later. But that's it. I don't know. It sounds like this dude is he's doing follow for a follow shit. Because that seems like the only way you would end up with 1,000 followers on Twitter. You're doing follow for a follow, and anybody who follows you, you follow them back.
On Threads.
That's probably how he got over 100,000 subs. He's probably one of those follow for a follow type guys where he just, I don't know, he has like 4,000 people he's subscribed to, and those people all subscribe to him and they told other people to subscribe him. Because how else can you get, hold on, where is it? Hold on. How else can you get over 120,000 subscribers and then you can barely get 10,000 views on your videos? How is that possible? I don't know. That's weird, dude. You shouldn't be following 2,000 people on Twitter.
And I don't think that it really goes outside of the spectrum of comic book artists and writers, wrestlers, actors, singers, Instagram baddies,
what?
Singers, Instagram baddies.
Oh, okay. That's how it got to 2,000. Okay, that makes sense. Pilgrim Media, thank you for the $2. They don't like the LGBTQ cold girls be fired. Wait, what do you say? They don't like the LGHT Coral Girl, girls be fired. I'm not sure what you meant there, but thank you for the $2. George Oswald, thank you for $5. WNBA players are hot. I'm not just saying that because I only watch MMA, where somehow they find even uglier women. Quiet Rider, thank you for $5. Ernie and Vito should fight. Ernie might as well be Black Vito minus the allegations. Dave, thank you for £2. Wouldn't you want your toothpaste to be anti-black? Pilgrim Media, thank you for $2. Hey, Comics Explain, Weebles Wobble Brother.
Cosplayers. Yeah, cosplayers. Like maybe the odd video game.
The cosplayers are also, hold on, these two?
Instagram baddies, cosplayers. Yeah.
The cosplayers, undeniably, he's following the cosplayers for the same reason he's following the Instagram baddies. I'd be very, very shocked if even like 3 or 4 of the cosplayers he follows are dudes. He probably follows all female cosplayers, and he follows them for the same reason he follows the Instagram baddies.
Yeah, cosplayers.
He might as well say cosplay baddies, because we know why you're following them. Why else would you follow a cosplay account unless, like, I don't know, if they're doing some cool shit? Because there is this one cosplayer that I follow on Twitter, and he makes some really cool shit. He makes like he's got like this weird reptile mech armor thing that he made that he's like really decked out, and he tried to make it as like realistically sci-fi as possible. So maybe he's following some account like that, but we know why he's following most of those cosplayers.
Like maybe the odd video game developer, and political activists. Those are like the 8 types of people I follow, and my feed is largely like political activism, titties, ass, political activism.
Well, at least he's honest.
Video games, anime, titties, ass. Yeah, that's my feed.
Here's my thing. If you're going to follow political activism, but you're also not going to read, right? Like, if you're not going to actually engage in certain... Here's my feeling about people who get really big into political activism. There are a lot of people who get big into political activism. They don't read shit. They don't read any political theory. They don't read any political history. They don't read any shit about economics. They don't read anything about like local politics, about political machines or any sort of that shit. They don't even keep up with local elections. They don't even keep up with elections in their district, which really are the most important elections, honestly, for a person. A lot of people only care about presidential elections or maybe certain gubernatorial elections or shit like that. But people like this, political activism is mostly worthless. It's mostly just like white noise without all of the other shit around it that people don't. The meat of the, it's like you're eating a cake, but you just lick off the frosting and you don't like engage in the sponge in any way at all. Well, okay, well then you're not eating most of the cake, bro. You gotta read some shit too. You gotta look into shit deeper. And guys like this never do.
That's my...
That's why he doesn't fucking know anything.
So what you're telling me is that like, yeah, his is like, okay, comic book shit. Oh, white supremacy. Oh, comic book shit.
And see, the reason why he thinks there's so much he thinks so much about white supremacy is because the political activists he looks up or the political activists he follows, it's like an RTU situation, right? Richard Masucci, he's gotten into politics, but he's gotten into it in the worst way possible, in that he only follows a handful of leftist influencers who are all retarded, and they only talk about culture war shit, right? If you only follow culture war shit is the stuff that too many people are the most concerned about when it comes to politics, even though a lot of the shit that's like the foundation that moves a lot of this machinery and whatnot, it's not culture war. See, politicians talk culture war because that's what gets a lot of people in booths. But behind the doors, right? These politicians that you think are at war with each other, they talk to each other very cordially, very peacefully, and stuff like that, very neutrally, because that's how actual politics work. Now, when they get out of the back room and they get on stream or they get behind the podium, then they start talking to culture war and whatnot, because that's what people want to hear. But if that's all you know, you don't really know anything.
White supremacy.
It's like trying to learn about stocks, but you don't know anything about bonds. Well, I'm sorry, you don't know anything about investing in stocks, and you're probably just going to lose money.
White supremacy. That's basically what his feed is. Once again, I did a video, actually.
Yes, his feed. Yes, Darren Gatewood. His feed is nothing but hating and gooning. That's all it is. That's why he's like this.
Talking about and breaking down some of the things that were being said, debunking a lot of things that were said that you said about like people like Nerd Rock.
Me Master OG, thank you for another $5. Re-Koof, I'm sorry, but how the fuck are people not tired of Koof yet? Society is 100% tired of it, and it's about damn time we stop testing. It's a dead horse. Well, the person, right, the person who I know who got tested for COVID, they said, well, I had something wrong with my chest. Personally, they were acting like they regularly were, and I don't know, they said that. I just thought it was something like the cold or maybe the flu. So they didn't seem that sick. They weren't throwing up. They weren't dying. They were doing the regular shit. Just like, I don't know, they had a bit of a chest cold and that was it. So I don't think it's that big of a deal at this point. I don't know, even back then, I didn't think COVID was that big of a deal. Obviously, people were getting sick, but it's like, I don't know, they acted it like it was the fucking T-virus or some shit. It wasn't that serious. Schnitzel Rada, thank you for $2. Mikey, you be a great guest for New Black Street. Oh, wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Like a critical drinker. I didn't watch their videos, like not on their channels or anything. I didn't follow them.
Okay, so how the fuck do you know that they're white supremacists? You don't even if you don't go to the direct source and see what they're saying, you don't know what the fuck they're talking about then, dude. You're talking out of your ass.
I downloaded them off of YouTube and then watched them in my own time.
Okay, so you did watch them. All right, then, never mind.
I don't give them, I don't give them metrics. I don't give the appearance of enjoying.
I don't really think they need that. I don't really think that, first off, I always feel like don't give this person a view. Don't even give them a view. They don't deserve it. I don't know. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I highly doubt that your one view is going to do anything for these people. But let's see. Yeah, I don't think that Critical Drinker is missing your one view. I don't think Critical Drinker is missing your one view, buddy. I also don't think, let's see, Nerd Roddick. How is he doing? Maybe Nerd Roddick needs your view. Maybe Nerd Roddick. Okay, he doesn't need your view either. Well, hold on. Maybe he's got a daily channel. Maybe his daily channel needs your views. Okay. No. Okay. Well, maybe his live stream channel needs your views. Okay. Maybe a little bit, but then again, we aren't talking about concurrent viewers, so maybe not. Okay, hold on. Now this is a fan club. That one needs your views? Okay, so the Nerdrotic fan club channel does need Ernie's views. What is the fan club channel? Okay, it's just 5 videos. Okay, so okay, the fan club channel that actually is not affiliated with Nerdrotic or Geeks and Gamers in any way, and it's just 5 videos, that one needs your views. I think that the other ones are fine, though. I don't think they're gonna live or die.
In their content, like, they get nothing from me. Like, if you see me watching a nerd, even like on my live streams where we've like responded to shit that like Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker and other people like them, even in those live streams, we're not watching their video on their channel. That video has been downloaded from their channel without even clicking on the video. Thus, they get nothing from me.
He has to tell this to the leftists in his audience because, it's all about purity test. Look, guys, I'm being a good little nigga. I'm being a good Negro. I ain't giving them a single view. I ain't even giving them a single view. I'm not even giving them an impression. I don't even watch the videos on YouTube.
Seems like a very piss poor excuse. Because honestly,
I give a fuck. Like, I give a fuck about going to Comic Artist Pro Secrets and giving Ethan Van Sciver a view. Who cares?
I know what happened. I think now I think about it, I think I know what video he's talking about. I think he's actually talking about the Nerds of Culture live stream. I think he tuned in for it. And I think that's where he got that, other stuff from. Because he kept thinking about the Threads video, but I think he was actually thinking about the live stream, because there I was very loud and proud about what.
At the end of the day, had you not called him a coon and came at him weird in DMs, this would have never happened to begin with.
I had to say about him, because by that point, evidence had already mounted against him. There was really nothing he could say to beat the charges. And that was also kind of where people were trying to defend him, say, oh, it was research, it was research. And notice how he used that very same line of thinking when he tried to defend himself for all of like 30 or 40 seconds in a 9.5-minute video. But then the other thing that came up, and this was one of the things, like, yeah, this is kind of where I was defending him, actually, and he just didn't realize it. I don't care if he doesn't talk about Milestone Media on his channel.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I knew before y'all knew that he didn't like Milestone Media, and it's kind of funny because it actually came up in a live stream. Like, he basically, like, Carter and I were talking about Milestone, and he was just really quiet. He didn't have anything to say. Just was what it was. And also, I want to point out, too, Rob, I think he doesn't like being black. Like,
Whoa, bro. That is it. That is crazy, bro. That is a crazy conclusion to come to. Just because somebody doesn't like black cape shit. You don't like Milestone Comics, so that means you don't even like being black. This is insane, bro. Hey, you were mean to me in DMs after I called you a coon. So that means that you don't like being black. Hey, you follow Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker. That means you don't like being black. This shit is insane, bro. This is crazy.
Even the little bit that he is. I mean, think about it. Look at his profile pic.
The little bit that he is. What do you mean? What? Because he's light skinned? This is colorist right here. This is actual colorism. For those of you, for a lot of the majority white people who make up my audience who don't know what colorism is, that's a thing in the black community where if somebody is light skinned, they will be judged as weaker or more sensitive than by darker black skinned people, especially if they're male. Or if somebody is dark skinned, they'll be perceived as less physically attractive, or if they're a woman, more masculine. That's how colorism works. It's basically race science, but specifically for black people against other black people. That's what he's doing right here.
On like Twitter and on
Again, Rob has a black wife.
YouTube. It's literally a white man. It's not him.
What do you mean? Bro, what do you mean it's not him? I'll be honest, bro. If I did not know that Rob was black, I would think that he was like Latino for real. For real, I would think he was Hispanic. He looks dark. He looks like lighter than a lot of Dominicans.
At least a dozen shades darker than him.
Also, I highly doubt that he drew this. I'm pretty sure somebody drew it for him. Like maybe a fan drew it for him and he decided to use it as the profile pic just because he likes the fan.
Profile pic in real life, but yet he has the picture of a white man on his YouTube channel.
This is a sick Negro.
Oh, he had to use it twice. He didn't even say anything that time. It's like, damn, bro. It's like, look at him, bro. It's just like, he's getting mad at him for being light-skinned. You can't even be a light-skinned nigga no more without people saying that you hate being black.
He has the picture of a white man on his YouTube channel.
See, this is why so many biracial black people, they end up being some of the most blackety black, militant, Afro-nationalist people in the country. Because of people like fucking Ernie, who will call them out and try and instigate that they hate their blackness because they aren't dark enough. It's retarded.
That's crazy. That's a whole new next level of wild shit. And then to top it all off, just everything else, his like him dumbing down Milestone Media to FUBU.
Milestone Comics is effectively FUBU within comic books.
That's what it is. FUBU, for, again, majority white audience that I have. For us, by us, it's by something that was made by black people for other blacks. That is what Milestone Comics was. Milestone Comics' mission statement, basically, was that it was black comic pros making a way for there to be more black comic book characters for black comic book fans. That's what it was. It is FUBU. That's what FUBU is.
Right? It is black superheroes created by black faces.
That's the only black-owned brand that Rob actually knows about. Let's just go and keep that a buck.
But you know what else is the other black-owned brand? You know, another black-owned comic brand that just so happens to have their most popular character as a black superhero? The Repiverse. But I doubt he's going to say anything positive about that.
He dumbs it down to FUBU and then says, it doesn't resonate with me.
There are some stories that just don't resonate with me. And Miles...
Well, I'm supposed to like everything made by black people just because I'm black? Nigga, that's retarded. A lot of black people just make dog shit. It's like, I'm supposed to like everything that Tyler Perry ever made because it was made by a black person for other black people? Nigga, that's dumb. Oh, fuck. Thank you for another $10. I know about Yella's. It's just the purity spiral for shadows.
It just didn't resonate with me on a personal level.
I'll give him credit. He did say earlier in that, I think that was like an 8-something minute video. He did say earlier in that video, he was kind of dancing around a lot of shit. But like in that video, he did say that he thought Milestone was important.
You know who one of the coolest black comic book characters who had nothing, his creation had literally nothing to do with a white person at all? Besides Black Panther, of course. Shit. Oh, shit. Brain fart. Spawn. Spawn was created by a white Canadian, McFarlane. Todd McFarlane made Spawn, right? And you had like, what was it? 2 white dudes made Black Panther.
Important, and that, you know, it was something that,
like, who cares? Black people make something, black people don't make something. People resonate with what they resonate with, regardless of what the intentions of the creator are.
You needed you know, to exist, but it was also within the same breath he was like, yeah, but I don't give a fuck about that shit. Once again, this isn't a video to fault.
Spawn movie? Hey man, the Spawn movie is just around the corner. Now, you know, McFarlane has said this literally every 2 or 3 years for like the past few decades that, hey man, the new Spawn movie is right around the corner. Oh, hey, bro, we got a new actor to replace, we got Jamie Foxx. Okay, Jamie Foxx isn't in the new movie. Hey, we got a new black actor. Hey, man, just another year, we'll have that Spawn movie out.
Him for not liking Milestone. He's well within his rights. But I will say, it does strike me as a little...
Todd, please stop advertising the Spawn movie. Just give us a trailer. Look, when you got everything in enough order where you can give us a trailer, then you can start talking about it again.
Sus that you like the black character who was a all lives matter, both sides are, and
all lives do matter.
Honestly, was even kind of seen as problematic by other black people, which I feel like Rob really identifies with, because
any nigga who says that I'm problematic, I hope you do. I hope you do think that I'm just a dumb nigger who has nothing of worth to say, and then you just like don't engage with me at all, please.
I noticed that some of the things he was talking about in various other threads, he was one of those people who's very...
I would hate for a nigga like this to ever think that I would agree with him on anything, or that we were ever on the same side, ever.
Very adamant that he was like, oh, I don't want to be the voice of black politics. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. That's not
good. That's very reasonable. Like, why is it always black people? Why is it always black people who get in prominent positions who now is our responsibility? I said our, like I'm somebody. But now it's like prominent black people's responsibility to like do something for any, like, look, I'm just going to take care of my family. I'm going to take care of my immediate community, which is going to be my extended family, maybe. And maybe, I don't know, I'll do something for my home in my hometown. But I don't owe the rest of you niggas something if I end up becoming a millionaire or a gajillionaire. Get the fuck out of here.
My thing. And ultimately...
And also, like, why do... I don't know. You're a black American. You get somewhere, you end up making something of yourself. Why do other black Americans are owed something from you more so than Americans of any other ethnicity? Like, what if it was mostly Jewish people who helped you get where you're at? What if it was mostly Latinos? What if it was mostly Filipinos, right? Indians, right? Like, what, like, why is it specifically the community who may have had nothing to do with your come up is owed the most from you just because you're both black and they may not even be your relatives, right? It's annoying enough when relatives who don't fuck with you like that would happen to come to you with their hands extended after doing nothing or not even helping you believe in your dream. right? When those people ask something from you, but I got to give it to like everybody who's the same ethnicity to me. That's dumb. Mental Crash, thank you for the 5,000, whatever that is. 2026, the year of the Spawny. Oh yeah, bro, it's coming out. We're gonna get a trailer. We're gonna get a trailer before the end of the year. I can feel it. Todd is gonna finally get the Spawn movie on the rails.
In the last video that you put up talking about, I'll address this, it basically all boiled down to centrism. Like Rob basically bragged about being an enlightened centrist. I mean, he didn't call himself
Chilean peso. All right, well, thank you, bro.
An enlightened centrist, but I mean, he was basically the enlightened.
Didn't you guys like recently elect like some super far right lady who's trying to like El Salvador, Chile, and just get rid of all the crime, just put everybody in super prisons? If so, that's pretty base.
Centrist meme, that whole, there's fault on both sides. Look, I get it. Yes. Is there fault on both sides? Sure. But when people talk about how they don't want to share their political opinions or they don't want to take a political stance, that's honestly, like, that's shorthand.
What do you mean that's shorthand?
At least to me. In my experience, I've generally been right about this, when dealing with people like this. And
you've been wrong about everything you've said for the past 25 minutes, but I'm supposed to believe that you were right in the past?
My life.
You sound like a retard to me. You sound like you really shouldn't be talking about anything outside of comics to me.
I have encountered people who say
this is true for a lot of people. There are a lot of people who they have the one thing, right? They're a comic book guy or they're a streamer guy, right? That's what Destiny used to be. Destiny used to be just a League of Legends guy, but then he got into politics and people started taking him seriously, even though he had no fucking qualifications to talk about any of the shit he was talking about. Hassan too. Hassan was a fucking shit. What was he? It was a fucking bro pickup artist guy, and then he got into politics. All these dudes who should have stayed in their lane, but they get into politics and then they end up they sound like just the biggest fucking retards because they weren't built for this. They didn't put in any of the work to be qualified to talk about any of this shit. So now we're all subjected to this bullshit because their audiences also don't know anything. See, if you want to know something, if you want to know some shit, oh yeah, the quartering, there are all sorts of people like this. But if you really want to know something about politics, you can easily just go to, hold on, let me show you. Let me just, right now, why was I on Comic Artist Pro Seekers? I'm just addicted to EVS. I can't quit them. But if you just want to, Harvard debate, right? So let's see.
It's never quite the same again. Self-knowledge is like lost innocence, however unsettling.
You can find this shit whenever you want to. You can easily just go to Harvard University. You can go to Stanford right here, and you can see debates and lectures by actual people who are qualified to talk about politics and all this other shit. But nobody wants to do that. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go and listen to an actual accredited professional who studied this shit for decades talk about politics. I want to listen to my favorite streamer in between watching Hell's Kitchen. Is it called Hell's Kitchen? Whatever it is. In between watching Gordon Ramsay, I want to see him talk about Israel versus Palestine and stuff like that. It's like, stay in your lane, but they never will. And I can't even blame them as much as I blame their followers.
That, I don't like talking about politics, or, I don't really like sharing my political opinions, or I don't really like diving into the political arena. It's usually for one of two reasons. It's usually because they're afraid that you're either going to find out that they have either bullshit politics or no politics at all.
What is bullshit politics? Let me guess. It's me not agreeing with you. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to, just take a shot in the dark that you think bullshit politics is any opinion that isn't yours, right? Because this is why they always say, well, you need to take a side. You can't be a fence sitter. you try and be political neutral. What they really want to try and bully you. They really want to try and pressure you into agreeing with them. Because if you thought that the average person was going to disagree with you, you wouldn't push for this shit. Because you know you would get blown the fuck out, right? Because most people would just tell you to fuck off, like Rob did.
Or you have fucked up politics. And that's usually what that boils down to. You know, just, it's one of those things, like I'm not talking about like, oh, I don't like doing this shit at work. I mean, I'm talking about like not wanting to do this shit, period, ever, on anything, regardless, no matter what. And I'm sorry, but in the day and age we live in, you might have been able to get away with that like prior to 2016. But in the day and age we live in now, I feel like if you don't stand for anything, then you stand for nothing. Or you...
Oh, shit, where did you hear that one from? Where'd you hear that? Unique. I've never heard that phrase before. I've never heard anybody say that fucking 50 million times.
Stand for the status quo. Take that how you wanna.
But the status quo is people like you, nigga. Like, what do you mean? You're the status quo.
That's just how I look at things. And I'm sorry, but...
Why do these dudes... It's crazy how, like... I don't know, man. You can have control of literally every institution, and you can have the most popular president of the last few decades just on your side, and you'll still act like you're the underdog. As if you aren't the most, as if half the country doesn't agree with you. As if the next election might not be a coin flip. As if most of the United States are red and MAGA. They're not. A lot of them are. You know, a lot of people, not all registered Republicans are MAGA. You know, Trump had to, it's kind of a coalition victory with Trump. He had to get people who didn't really fuck with him that much to endorse him too.
Having a platform as big as you have, and then in the same breath wanting to, I don't want to share my opinions on that stuff. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. I mean, you know, it's your prerogative. You, at the very least, should have a better excuse than fault on both sides. And that's something that Rob's been throwing around for a while, that whole fault on both sides.
I mean, you're on the other side. If you're on the other side and you're just an obnoxious piece of shit, you're just a giant cunt who tries to weaponize race, literally saying that he's not even comfortable in his own skin, that he hates being black because, I don't know, he doesn't like fucking Milestones comics. And he also told you to fuck up in DMs because you called him a coon and you were coming at him weird in DMs, right? So you're on the other side, so I can understand why he doesn't want to take the same side that you're on.
Fault on both sides. I'm not going to pick a side, but fault on both sides. And because that's just a really easy way for people to not pick a side. To be a fence sitter, to be a both sideser,
yes, this dude is friends with organized chaos.
You're a coward. That's basically what you are. When people tell me that they're a centrist, that's just a really fancy word to tell me you're a coward, that you stand for nothing. That
No. Look, this is another trick. See, all they have is tricks. They don't have anything. Oh, that's beautiful. I might save that. I have literally no intents. I have no intention of making any future content with this nigga because honestly, he's repugnant, he's disgusting, he's subhuman, both externally, internally, and I really don't want to talk about him again. But I might use this for meme purposes in the future, this little screenshot right here. But this is another trick that he has because all they have is rhetorical tricks. They don't have any actual substance to anything they say. They call you a coward. Everything is them trying to gaslight you, manipulate you, pressure you into agreeing with their points, right? It's like saying that centrists don't have anything they believe in. I can believe that both sides of the establishment are wrong. I can believe that the mainstream GOP and DNC platforms are both not good enough, and I don't like them. And maybe I might vote for one or the other come election time. But if I'm a centrist and I don't want to vote right or left, I don't want to vote Republican or Democrat, that doesn't mean I stand for nothing. That means that the things I stand for are not represented by the powers that currently be in this country's institutions. It's very straightforward. But this retard, this fat faggot right here, he wants us to agree with what he wants to say. So in order to get us to agree with what he wants to say, he tries to tell the centrist who has his own opinions, who has his own values, that his values are just to stand in for cowardice. And that if you were a real man, you would disavow those Nazis on the right, including the black ones, because everybody's a Nazi on the right. Even if you are gay or black or trans, you're all Nazis. If you were a real man, you would stand with me over here and hold literally all of the political beliefs that I have.
You'll literally just stand idly by because you don't have an opinion on anything, at least not a good one or one that wasn't already spoon-fed to you.
Exactly.
And I mean, and based on the fact that he's following white supremacists and thinking that they have value.
Also, he's talking about spoon-fed. I know for a fact you have not looked into any of this bullshit, bro. You have not looked into any of the shit that you're saying. All you're doing right now is repeating buzzwords that you heard from somebody else, repeating rhetoric that you heard from somebody else. It's just like Review Tech USA. The reason why he calls everybody fascist, because the people he watches right now that he started watching late last year, they call everybody fascist. And that's his favorite new word. He can just use it against anybody he doesn't like, just like the influencers that he watches. Your boy Black Weep, thank you for $4.99. Daily reminder, the Rage Pig is technically more qualified to talk about politics than Destiny or Hassan. That is actually true. Ethan Ralph actually he actually did study politics for real. He also is like a semi-qualified journalist to a degree. So that's actually somewhat true. Synchro Max, thank you for $5. Oh, I stand for something, all right. It's just not the things that they believe in. Big Stink, thank you for $2. I stand for everything that guy stands against.
Valuable opinions, I have to question, what opinions do they have that he finds valuable? Like, honestly, I didn't even mean to really sit here and talk about this.
Valuable? That's a completely subjective thing. Like, what do you mean valuable? The things that he values might be things that you think are stupid and vice versa. That's why politics exists, because people with different values have conflicts about those values, and so they have to take them to the marketplace of ideas and battle them out and earn votes. Well, politics still happen in authoritarian countries too, right? Like people in Stalin's inner circle, those people were politicking it up too, you know, all sorts of intrigue and whatnot. There just weren't any elections. But no, it's like difference in values is the main reason why politics exists as a concept. You dumb retard.
Shit for this long. But yeah, I wanted to address this shit, and I wanted to address it in a way that felt genuine and honest. And basically
the most disingenuous piece of shit I've had to listen to in a while.
Tell you guys my side of the story.
On par with Ethan Van Sciver, right?
Because I'm
just a black leftist version of EVS, just disingenuous. Every word out of his mouth is just him trying to gaslight and manipulate you into just thinking some shit that he can't even fucking prove.
Go ahead and tell you right now. Well, Rob has it, at least to my...
And all of this was over some petty bullshit. Again, this was all because he wanted to get Rob, who's a way bigger channel than him, to just do what he wants, and he didn't, and he called him a coon, and then he came in his DMs, and Rob realized he peaked game immediately and realized what the play was, and he told him to fuck off.
Knowledge.
That's the whole reason he made this video.
Hasn't named my name in any of this. My thing is, I don't care. I don't care. I
don't care. Bro made almost a 30-minute video talking about some bullshit about another black comic YouTuber, but he doesn't care.
Honestly, I have nothing to gain from this because a lot of my...
Yes, you do. Okay, again, let's look again. Let's look again. So we're going to see here. Let's see. Blerd Without Fear. Oh, look, he posted this video. So when did you post this video? He posted this video on the 10th. The very next day. Oh, hey, look at that. You gained 1,000 subscribers, another 1,000 subscribers. Oh, hey, look, you gained over 3,000 subs in the last 2 weeks. And oh, you got a bunch more views than what you normally got too. And oh, we go over here. And we look at comics. Oh, wait, hold up. That's the wrong thing. We go over here. We look at Rob's channel. Oh, and he lost 10,000 subs the very next day. Yeah, he got a little bit less viewers than what he usually got for a very short amount of time. They've been returning to normal. But yeah, I think you did have a little bit to gain. I think that you have it's very obvious what your ulterior motive was with making this video.
Followers.
You're not as clever as you think.
Are Rob's followers. So if anything, I stand more to lose than I do to gain. So, you know, it is what it is. If you've made it this far in the video,
this is the first, when was the last time he got a video this big? I'm very curious. I'm gonna go to most popular. Okay, wow, look at this. Oh damn, 1 million views 7 years ago. That was the most viewed video ever. Okay. And he also, man, he was somebody a couple years ago. So, okay. All right, that was 3 years ago. That was, wow. Okay. He legit hasn't had a video crack 6 digits in over 3 years. What did you really, like, what did you have to lose here, brother? I mean, look at the state of your channel. I don't think you got a whole lot to lose. I think you had nothing to gain. I mean, what, even less people are going to watch your video than they already were?
I would just say, if you are in your feelings because I don't like your favorite comic book YouTuber because he traffics with white supremacists.
Traffics? Now he's trafficking, right? It wasn't just he was supporting white supremacy. No, now he's trafficking with the white supremacists. Wow.
That says a lot more about you than it does about me.
He probably doesn't even know what he just said. He just said traffics. He could have just said moves with, because associates with, hangs out with. He specifically said traffics. Probably because he heard somebody human trafficking because of some Jeffrey Epstein type shit. He doesn't even know what that word means.
I want y'all to sit and shoot.
Just like Review Tech USA. You hear somebody, you hear an influencer say a word, you don't know what the word means, you just repeat it, right? And then you end up sounding retarded because you don't know what words mean.
On that, and Rob, if you end up watching this video, I hope you do the same. And I still keep that same sentiment. I do hope you get help.
I hope you get help. I hope you get help.
I hope you do the same. And I still keep that same sentiment. I do hope you get help.
For what? What is wrong with him besides making too much money? Besides getting too many views? Besides having too many subs? Besides getting too much clout? Besides having the ceilings in his house too high? Besides having the walls in his house too far apart? Besides having a bitch who's too bad as a wife? What does he have?
Because you are a sick Negro. You are not only just a sick Negro.
Bro, you admit that your fucking Twitter account is mostly just accounts that you goon to. Because we know that you're gooning to literally all of the cosplayers that you follow, right? So I think there's one sick Negro here, and it's not the married man.
Negro, you have effectively become, and I think maybe you always were, you were a token. And always remember, tokens get spent. That is their only purpose. So enjoy.
These people, these guys never think that they're the token. People like this, they never do the self-reflecting, and they never think, well, am I the token here? Am I the person who's just serving the interests of certain people of a certain political persuasion so that they can get one on and just use me as a bludgeon against their political enemies? He never thinks about that. He never thinks, am I just here for fucking political representation points and like nobody here actually fucks with me outside of being able to use me as a shield? He never thinks about that. They never do. It's always the other people who are a token. Like Eric July, they say that he's a token. It's like, bro, Eric July is the owner of this business. He is the leader. He's the leader of the Rippaverse. He is not the token. If anything, he's diversity hiring any of the white people that he puts on his payroll. Anyway, that's enough of this Negro right here. Now we're going to get to this. We're going to get to Rob explaining himself. And we're going to put it on a little bit higher speed. Because that was exhausting. That was exhausting right here.
Okay, so let's talk about all the drama that's going on out there, all the controversy that's been happening over the last few days. Now, I'm sure people are going to ask, why did it take Rob so long to respond? Well, I'll be honest with you guys. After I first saw Ernie's video, I was pissed. I was incensed. I don't think I've ever been that angry in my entire life.
Bro was like, oh, he was changing his character. Because normally, Rob is just a normal, nerdy, light-skinned brother. He doesn't even think about, and first off, the idea I don't know. This right here, let me look. They say he doesn't look like... That guy was talking about how... Hold on. Can I not fucking... I guess I can. He was saying that Ernie does not look... That Rob does not look like his YouTube avatar. He does! Maybe it's slightly lighter. I don't know, bro. I think that he's actually is just that light skin. I feel like the lighting in the photo that he showed made him look darker than he is. But yeah, normally Rob is just a peaceful, light-skinned, nerdy brother who just wants to talk about comics. But the way that dude was acting, he was bringing Rob out of his character. He was making him act different. Rob was about to act a certain way that his father raised him better than.
Right, because the whole video was effectively a hit piece, right? And it was just driving.
That's exactly what it was.
It was leaving out statements that I had made in that video on Twitter that didn't make me look racist, and then keeping statements that actually made me look racist. So like
that was another trick, right? All they have is tricks. They don't have anything of substance. They just have to lie by omission, or they lie blatantly. They can never tell the truth, because if we only fight, if we only debate on truth, they're going to lose by default because they got nothing.
As an example, one of the things that I said in that video on Twitter that Ernie left out and just kind of skimmed over and grouped into, then he started talking about some, erroneous, unnecessary things, is that...
You know what, Eric, that is true. Black people don't understand light theory and shit. You can see it. I don't know, you see it a lot if you follow anime Twitter or hood weeb Twitter, right? You'll just see they'll bring up a dark-skinned anime character, right? And the character just has a tan, like it'll be a character from Okinawa who's out in the sun a lot, so they have a tan, or maybe they swim a lot and they got like that chlorine tan or some shit like that, and they'll say, this character is black, and it's like, no, that character is not black, that is a tan person. And then they'll bring up like this picture of them looking super black in like this one frame in an anime or this one panel in a manga, and it's like, yeah, that's called lighting. That's called color theory. It's like if you put somebody in a different environment, then they're gonna look a different shade than what they are because of the way that the shadows and the light are playing off their skin. It's like per capita. A lot of niggas just don't they can't comprehend it.
When I sit down and I make a video, I do not at any point take into account the skin color of the writer, the artist, or the main character, their race, or any of that stuff. The only standard I use is whether or not I enjoy the story. The only time that race plays a factor is if the race of that character is an intrinsic part of that story. And that's when I use the example of Blue Marvel, right? And kind of gave a quick bit of a synopsis in order for people to understand how race played a role within that story, right? And how that kind of feeds into whether or not, I focus on race when I'm talking about making a video.
All right, see this? First off, his video almost half as long as the other dude's video, only about 15 minutes. That other dude went on for nearly 30, right? And in the midst of explaining this, he's gonna go into some comic book shit. See, this is why he has over 2 million he has over 2.5 million subs, while Ernie over there is stuck at 120 and can barely get 10,000 people to watch his fucking videos. Because Rob loves to talk about, he's very enthusiastic about comic book shit. Like, for real. Junebug loves you. Thank you for $2. Good morning, dude. Hi to you.
Or deciding to make a video. But yeah, I was mad as hell. Like, I was fucking pissed. And there were a lot of erroneous claims that were made in that video. For example, one of the things he said is that my audience is mostly white. I mean, he doesn't know that because I don't know that. And I don't know that because YouTube doesn't tell me that.
Come on, bro.
YouTube gives me a lot of analytics, but
YouTube can tell you what countries are mostly making up your viewers. And let's be real, if your channel gets majority American, majority British, majority Australian viewers, you know what ethnicity those viewers are what they most likely belong to.
As far as I know,
it's fine to have mostly white fans, bro.
There is no
Kendrick Lamar is super pro-black, and he has mostly white fans, and he says he loves his white fans. So
analytic that shows what the skin color of a viewer is. I mean, I can see if you're watching on an iPhone. I can see what state you're in. I can see what time of day you watch my videos. Right? I can see a lot of information about you as a viewer, but I cannot see your skin color. I can see if you're male or female. For example, my audience is 96 point something% male, but I don't know if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever the case happens to be. So that was just kind of an outrageous claim. The idea that I was giving shit to Reese.
I don't know, if I make a video and I see most of the viewers are from Malaysia, I'm not gonna assume they're mostly Latino. Like, come on, Rob. We know how demographics work. I know you're too high IQ and too light skinned to not know how demographics work, bro.
Reese on Twitter because she was black. I don't know where he got that from. I was giving her shit on Twitter because she's an asshole, and I don't know anybody who would doubt that claim, right? Or at least was coming off as an asshole at that point. There were a lot of claims like that, that were being made. That I don't like being black. That I intentionally whitewashed my avatar. I mean, these were honestly in seeing a lot of that. The video just looked like it was coming from a place of anger, and it looked like it was coming from.
He was so bitter, bro. There was so much bitterness in that video. He hates the fact that he'll never get on Rob's level. It just eats at Ernie.
Place of, Comics Explained is going down a path that I don't like, or at least I perceive he is. And I'll talk about why I think, that's the perception, but I perceive he is. And therefore, I'm going to make a video that does everything I can to tear him down, I mean, there's accuracy in the statement that I don't follow Milestone, but like I said, it just didn't resonate with me on a personal level. And I'll stick by that. I'm not going to apologize.
It doesn't resonate with most people, including most black comic book readers. Most black comic book fans are not fans of Milestone. Again, they are fans of Static because everybody's a fan of Static. Static is the one character. See, Static is to DC what Marvel really wants Miles Morales to be, right? Like Miles Morales, they push him a lot, and they've had success with him, especially with the movies and whatnot. But they really want Miles to be like Static, where Static has barely been in anything. But everybody still loves Static regardless, right? And they want Static to be in more things. They want Static to be in all the NRS fighting games. They want him to have crossovers with Batman and the Arkham games. They want him to be in movies and shit. That's what they want they want Static Shock to get a show like they gave Black Lightning. That's what DC fans want out of Static. Marvel just doesn't, they can't get Miles to have that sort of organic love. Right, even though they put so much love into him. So I don't know why DC doesn't try to do more with Static. It seems very self-evident that he is their answer to Miles Morales, and he would do a way better job at it than Miles does.
For not enjoying a comic book line, which was the point that I made in that video.
Static had his own cartoon. I mean, like his own IRL, his own IRL drama show, like Black Lightning and Flash and them. And Green Arrow
on Twitter. There's a lot of comic book lines that I don't find enjoyment with. I'm not a huge fan of G.I. Joe. I think All Hail Megatron is like the only story arc I've ever enjoyed from Transformers, right? But again, those things got left out because it was much easier for me to simply just take out that segment of me saying I'm not really a huge fan of Milestone, and then to say Rob doesn't identify as black, that kind of thing, right? So that's why the whole video felt like a hit piece. Now, whether or not it was Ernie's intention to create a hit piece on me,
licensing issues, all the Milestone stuff has contract nonsense attack. See, this is another reason why the Milestone characters never went anywhere. Because it's like, what do you mean? Licensing bullshit look, bro, licensing, you would jump through hoops, right? Like Marvel and Disney, they jump through hoops for Spider-Man with Sony because it's Spider-Man, right? And it is worth it. It is worth it for Marvel and for Disney to fucking do all these fucking tricks just so they can get Sony to let them do shit with Peter Parker. That is not the case with any of the Milestone characters, including Static, right? Like fucking DC, Warner Bros, they ain't about to do all that shit just so they can use Icon and something.
I don't know. But if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, whatever. And so following that, right, I had to calm down. I had to calm down because don't get me wrong,
he was very close. See, he was so close to having a nigga moment. He was so close. He had to control himself. But you see, this is why he makes the big bucks, because he knows that the easy way to just avoid a nigga moment is to just step back and relax, right? He looked up at the very tall ceilings in his house and he's like, I don't need to do this. I'm light-skinned.
Free urge to clap back and to call this man every name.
I'm Comics Explained.
Everything in the book, but a child of God.
I got 2.6 million subs on YouTube.
Like I had every urge to do that. And in fact, I actually fired up a live stream yesterday, and then, once the live stream was done, YouTube uploads live streams. It kept giving me upload errors. I don't fucking know, right? I feel like these days the website only ever works half the time, and when it does work, it doesn't work right. fucking AI. So, having said that, you know, once I saw that it was all starting to pick up steam and everybody was starting to make videos, right? People on TikTok were making videos, people on YouTube were making videos. TikTok was pulling no punches, right? It was nuts on TikTok. When people on TikTok, you know, people were making their
TikTok is funny because something in TikTok can blow up and get like a 50 gajillion views, and then it makes no waves on YouTube. But something on YouTube can get just 100,000 or 50,000 views, and it can make tons of waves on social media or on TikTok. It's weird.
Videos. I just sat back and started watching it, you know, and some of the people who were making videos, I mean, they were just trend jacking, right? You know, people talking shit about Comics Explained. You know,
No, he's not Muslim. He's just wearing a backwards cap.
Alex into, you know, get their views where they could. And some people were genuinely
He's light skinned and he's a comic book nerd, but he's still black, you know.
upset. But from what I gather, the only thing that I think most people really wanted to know was that when it came out that I followed Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic on Twitter, that in that statement in the video that I made, where I said I listen to people like them because I'm not 100% right and they're not 100% wrong, that statement came off as very ambiguous. And people wanted to know, what do I agree with them on, right? So, in seeing all these videos that people were making, and how it was all snowballing, you know, people were saying things like, you know, I bet Rob's a Trump supporter. You know, like, I bet Rob's against trans rights. You know, I bet Rob's definitely racist. All right, let's get some motherfucking shit cleared up right now. My guy, there has never been a time.
Why does it matter? Why does it why does it matter if somebody isn't pro-trans rights or is a Trump supporter or is anything? Like, why is that even your concern? Is he running for politics? Is he talking about politics? See, if he was at least talking about politics, I could understand. But if he's just a completely apolitical creature, who gives a fuck what they believe? Like, that's your business, bro.
When I have been a Trump supporter.
See, if it was something like, I believe in eating dogs, I believe in lowering the age of, because if it's something insane, then sure. But if it's just something like, I support he supports a politician I don't fuck with, well, who gives a fuck, dude?
I am not a fan of what ICE is doing out there. I got brown skin, in case you didn't notice. So
don't do that.
Supreme Court and Clarence Thomas, who doesn't know he's black, they named me public enemy #1.
Oh, he's doing the thing. No, Rob, you're doing the thing. You're doing the thing that Ernie was doing to you.
Right, at any point, like every single day, I get up and I go out into the world, and I know that.
Did you forget that you're black? Okay, well, now you're like retroactively, like proving, like you're submitting to Ernie's logic. So now you're like retroactively giving him power. Now Ernie could respond. Ernie might respond to this video and he might just take what you just said and be like, see what I said? He forgot that he was black, just like Clarence Thomas did. Thank you, Tonto XT. Thank you for the $5. Mikey, loving the stream today, but you're making it very hard to listen in around my black coworkers today. I've got a lot of explaining to do.
Some ICE agent could run up on me and tell me to produce my papers, right? And if I tell him, well, if I ask,
look, dude, you do not look. What do you mean?
Why am I being?
Where do you even live? Do you even live in a sanctuary city? Do you live in Minneapolis?
To produce my papers, you can snatch me out of the car, put me in cuffs, and drive me. I live with that anxiety every day, right? So yeah, no.
Really? Wow.
I am not a fan of what they are doing, right? I don't understand, like, I don't know why anybody would believe that I would be against trans rights. What's the problem? Like, I don't understand that. Like, why would you look at a person who's felt out of place, off kilter, doesn't know who they are, and then when they finally figure it out, it comes through transitioning? Why would you give them shit about that? Right?
See, this is why they're gonna eat you alive. See, I was thinking, no, they're probably not. This is probably gonna get worse for them because you already. Once you start, here's the thing, and this is something that Emeru just had to learn when she was all like, hey, why do you guys even care what a streamer has to say? And then they all got on her about, because she didn't disavow ICE, and then she had to make a statement where she's like, look, I don't agree with what ICE is doing. What you're doing is that you're deliberately cutting your wrist in a pool of hungry sharks, and they're not going to stop. Now it's going to get worse because you're giving them W's, right? You're giving them some ground. And look, these people, when you're dealing with people like this, any amount of ground you give them is just like admission that, oh, I can put them against the wall now. I can keep going, right? Eventually, they're going to get you to the cliff. And you're either going to have to bow down or you're going to have to jump, bro.
So no.
That's what you did.
I don't have a problem.
You could have just told this. What you should have did, you should have told this nigga to go fuck himself. You should have told him to eat a dick and mind his business. But because you're already like you're giving him this much, even if you do agree with some of these things, the fact that you're even like admitting, you're giving these sorts of admissions, it's not going to be good for you, Ernie.
With any of those things, my life philosophy is simple.
Because the future purity tests are going to be wild, bro. You don't even know. You thought it was bad, bro. You thought Ernie got you upset. You ain't seen what mad is yet, dude. These dudes about to fuck you up, dude.
Live your life in a way that does not bring harm to other people, and don't be an asshole unless other people are an asshole to you, and that's it, right? But to the point of what I agree with,
Mr. Bloodia, thank you for $5. Blerd literally psyoped Rob into coming down to pigeon chess politics. He's a light skin. He should have just flowed above it.
With Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker on.
The only way to win this game, dude, was to not to play. But now you're playing it. You're playing it. Maybe you don't think, well, I'm not completely playing it. I'm just saying, you know, I don't completely agree. You should have said nothing. You should have said, oh, that nigga can eat a dick. And I don't care. See, here's the thing. You don't care for ICE and you're pro-trans rights or whatever. Okay. You should have not just like said it, because it's like you're saying it in self-defense. You should just have said, my politics are my politics. Don't tell me what the fuck to do. Don't say that I hate being black. Eat a dick. And then it would have been fine. But now you've shown weakness, and now it's going to continue.
Right. I agree with them with the idea that there is merit to the...
Yeah, Eric July needs to talk to him, because Eric July, he knows all about this shit. He knows how to deal with people like this. He doesn't. Somehow, Rob has been very lucky. He's been very lucky to have gone all of his very successful YouTube career with very, very little controversy or conflict. Now, some of it is beating on his door, and he is not maneuvering like he should, bro. This is not...
argument. People
they gonna eat you alive, bro. 2026 might be rough for you, dude. You need to be careful.
Attached to superheroes, they don't want to see them change. They don't want to see anybody else take their place. Where we part company is when they say it's a problem when superheroes are switched out for other...
See, if he had a Riley, if Rob had to deal with a Riley, with a Vito, with a Dick, with an EVS, he would have been cooked. He wouldn't have been able to like handle the bullshit, right? He wouldn't have been able to handle the gay tactics.
Superheroes, but they only talk about that in relation to Sam Wilson replacing Steve Rogers, and they say nothing about Wally West replacing Barry post-Crisis, and they say nothing about Barry replacing Wally in the New 52. If you legitimately believe that your favorite superhero is being replaced, or superheroes in general being replaced, is a problem, and you really believe in the argument or the idea that there are people who become attached to those heroes and don't want to see them change, that applies across the board, regardless of the superhero skin color, right? That's where we part company, right? I agree with them on the idea that that scene between She-Hulk and Bruce Banner, right, when She-Hulk is screaming about how, you know, she's always angry and that kind of thing, that was incredibly poorly handled. I disagree with them that it was her getting catcalled sometimes, right? I disagree with that. Honestly, I don't think that scene went far enough. What I think that scene should have done is it should have brought some real world shit into it. I know the whole show was a comedy, and that's fine, but I feel like it should have brought some real world shit into it, which is to say, what should have happened in that scene is it should have been Jennifer Walters telling Bruce Banner, yeah, I'm always angry, Bruce. I am angry because as a lawyer, every day I hear the stories of women who are victimized and no one believes them. The institution won't believe them. Every day I hear stories.
You know, there was recently a story about this dude, this football ace, right? Like he was a prodigy. He was getting scouted out by schools. He was probably going to get into NFL. He ended up going to, I don't know if he went to jail, right? No, I think he did go to jail, but he wasn't in there the whole time. But some girl falsely accused him of rape. This is a black dude and a snow bunny, of course. So Dr. Umar validated once again, nigga fell for the snow bunny mind control. She accused him of rape like 5-6 years ago. And it was later she finally admitted that it was false. So this nigga's life, his future was just ruined, stolen from him forever over some bullshit because of a false allegation. And,
from women who were told by the men in their lives, oh, baby, I'll love you forever. And then as soon as she gets knocked up, he bails. And now she's got to track him down for child support. Every day I hear stories about women who hit the glass ceiling for no other reason than the fact that they are a woman. So yeah, Bruce, I'm always pissed off.
That would have been even worse, because that would have been talking about some bullshit.
I'm not pissed off because of what happens in my life. I'm pissed off for them. And I'm pissed off because I know that there's nothing I can do about it. Because it's the very institutions that exist out there that are making life harder for them. Right? That's what I would have done in that scene. Captain America Brave New World. I agree with them with the statement that Captain America Brave New World was trash. And I agree with them that...
George Oswald, thank you for $2. Brian Banks.
Sam Wilson as Captain America has been
That's what his name was.
By the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I disagree with them about the statement that the Sam Wilson Captain America is an ineffective... I'm sorry, is a crappy Captain America, that he's a shitty Captain America because he's not Steve Rogers, which is a point they've made on Twitter, right? Because I don't watch their videos and I don't subscribe to their channels, FYI, right? But I think...
Yeah, he's not base. Rob is not base.
Captain America, Brave New World, that movie...
And that's why this is getting to him in the first place, right? It's because he's not based. Because he's like, wait, why are you guys going at me? I'm not like one of those guys. I'm not an Eric July. I'm not like that. I don't call out, right? Like he's one of those dudes who would have disagreed back when your boy Zach still had a mind of his own before he went crazy because of the birthday party clown mania, self-induced, that he put himself under. Rob is somebody who would have fought and disagreed with Zach back in the day, back in 2018, 2019, whatever, right? And so that's why he's confused why people are going at him, because it's like, dude, I don't even say shit. I don't even do anything. And, dude, they don't care. They don't care if you've literally never done if you've done everything that you're supposed to be and you've been a good Negro. They don't care, bro. You're still going to get put up against the wall because you're not 100% down.
It was trash because to me, that movie didn't go far enough.
Wait, Brian, their accuser was black?
Right. When I look at that movie, and I've gone on record, like I've gone on record and saying this, right? I'm pretty sure I have a video where I talk about it.
Hold up, I'll look it up. Maybe it was a different dude. I mean, very likely. You know, this has happened multiple times. There have been a lot of fake. I'm not one of those guys. Every accusation is fake. A lot of them are, right? It's like nonprofits. Obviously, not all nonprofits are fake. There are some very legitimate, righteous nonprofits that have done invaluable work for people. But some of them, quite a bit of them, are bullshit scams that have done nothing but take from naive good doers and not given to people in need like they said they were going to.
In Captain America Brave New World, what I would have done is I would have continued the story of Isaiah Bradley. And then I would have just brought in, I would have made it basically a combination of Weapons Plus and Captain America Red, White, and Black, right? Where it goes into the story of Isaiah Bradley and it shows, right? Isaiah Bradley's platoon being experimented on by the U.S. government. So basically the Tuskegee experiments with super soldiers and the super soldier serum, right? Which we got some of that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But then the movie starts going deeper, right? And what the movie does is it highlights how minorities were viewed by society back in the 1960s, 1950s, 1960s, 1930s even. And how they were the subject of various experiments. And Sam Wilson learns about that. Now, the Weapons Plus component comes by way of, that was the government trying to make super soldiers. So maybe you just introduce some new characters along the way. But that's what I would have done. And in fact, I've been advocating for that for a long time. Right? Like, when it comes to the worldviews of Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic, no, we do not walk side by side. And do not trick yourself into thinking that's true. But when it comes to their takes on comic book movies, I agree with some of them. For example, I disagree with the idea that women don't watch comic book movies. That's nonsense, right? That women in general. No. The Wrap had an article that came out in like 2023 or something like that when the Marvels released. 41% of viewership was women. Now, I don't know about you, but 41's a pretty...
The Marvels? You're using the Marvels as your basis, bro? Didn't that fucking movie bomb? Like, what do you mean?
Pretty big number.
41% of what? 14 people?
If I change your DNA by 41%, you'd be a tree. So 41% makes a big difference, right? Percentages matter, right? And so it's not as though women don't enjoy superhero movies. The Marvels failed because that movie was fucking trash.
I don't feel bad for this guy anymore.
Right? So no, I don't follow the worldviews of guys like that. But to the point of why it is that I do follow them, which is another big point of contention. People ask, why do you follow people like that? Right? I follow people like that for the same reason.
Maybe he'll stick the landing. Maybe he'll stick the landing in this video.
Right, that I explicitly stated. I'm not 100% right, they're not 100% wrong. But people like that do keep me in check. Right? To me, it's no different than following CNN and Fox News. Right? Two competing news sources.
That is bull. Look, you shouldn't be watching Fox News or CNN. Watching either of those will make you way more retarded. Do not, no. First off, I don't understand people. If you're old, right? If you're my parents' age, then you can watch the news. You are old enough. If you're like mid to late 30s and younger, you should just use social media for news, because that's where the majority of these news stations are getting their news anyway, right? It's like something that always bothered me is that as a YouTuber, I know. Now, I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with anybody. I say this all the time, and I'll say it again. You can take any of my content, use it for whatever you want, fucking freeboot it. I don't care about you fucking editing the content so that it fits fair use. I don't care. You can do whatever you want with any of my videos or any of my streams. It doesn't fucking matter. But a lot of people do care, right? It's like one of the unspoken rules of the internet is that you can't just take somebody else's shit and do what you want with it. Even somebody like the internet anarchist, who didn't like literally take somebody's shit, but he was going around and he was stealing other people's scripts and just slightly rewording them and then like reusing other people's research and material in his own videos and whatnot, just stealing from smaller creators. That's some fuck shit. These news stations literally do that. They will literally steal content from like other people's stuff that they put on social media, or even like other articles that people have written, and there's no accountability for it unless you try and sue them. And what, I'm gonna sue CNN, I'm gonna sue MSNBC, I'm gonna sue Fox News because they stole my footage, or they stole something that I wrote about a breaking story and they gave me no fucking credit for it, right? So it's bullshit. You shouldn't be watching Fox News or CNN. It doesn't help you. You're not gonna help you to be a more fair-minded individual. It's just gonna make you more retarded. You're gonna be doubly retarded.
Right? I follow people like that because they espouse a lot of extreme.
I can remix your videos with Thug Shaker videos. You sure as fuck can, bro.
Right-wing stuff. They certainly have some anti-trans views. And if I were to simply just ignore people like that, then how do I know that my belief is an actual correct belief? Now, some of them are irrefutably correct, right? Like some of them.
This is good logic, though. I'll give him that, right? It's like, how can I know that what I believe is right if I don't even go and see the other people and go and see what they're wrong about? How can I just believe that? So that is a good thing. That's the saving grace that makes me want to give Rob a fair chance. He has some very good logic. To be fair, he got it from their father, but that's how that's supposed to work, right? You're supposed to get a lot of your good sense from your dad, which is why a lot of these niggas have no sense at all.
Obviously, they're 100% correct, right? Why would you ever believe that trans people don't deserve rights, right? But then what if I start finding myself deviating to the side of like the far left, right? Billionaires are the problem with everything, and my life would be better if they didn't exist. No, because on the right, they'll say things like, well, what are you doing to try to improve your life? Because there are things you can do. Are you doing the best you can in the face of that? In an age of smartphones, where people can become millionaires with nothing other than an iPhone, are you exploring that, right? I mean, there's merit to making arguments like that, right? So that's why I believe listening to both sides is important, because it keeps me in check. It keeps me from deviating too far to the right or the left. Now, I know that kind of pisses people off, right? These are extreme times, and extreme times call for extreme sides. And so people want to see you pick their side. I mean, that was Ernie's point. Ernie's big point was that I wouldn't pick his side, right? I mean, what other point is?
I mean, that's what it comes down to. Ernie was like, why aren't you picking my side? Even though, as we've just heard him, he is essentially picking your side. He's not really pro-ICE, and he's pro-trans rights, right? It's like, what more do you want from him? Like honestly, what more could a leftist want from somebody other than them to be anti-racism, pro-trans rights, and I don't know, negative about ICE? What else could you want them to do? What else are they supposed to do?
There, right? I mean, he's clearly mad because I identify essentially as a centrist. And if I said I identify with Critical Drinker and Neurotic in their political...
Isn't it also interesting? I just thought about this, right? It's like, what being a leftist is has nothing to do with what people used to associate with leftism. Like, it has nothing to do with class rights or any of that shit. It has nothing to do with labor rights or any of that shit. It's like literally, it's all race shit. It's all just race politics or gender politics or LGBTQ politics and stuff like that. Like, where's the stuff about socioeconomics? They always talk about socioeconomic shit when it's time to talk about what niggas are going through, but they're so quick, right? They're so quick to just turn it into some more race shit. All of the classic leftist talking points from decades ago, from the 80s and earlier, that's gone now. It's all been replaced with just, I don't know, shit libbery.
Views, he'd be even more pissed off. So what side's left?
The left has been gentrified by the worst part of the left.
Right.
This is why, I'm going to give this. I will give this to the GOP. I will give this to Con Inc., as the Groypers will call it. They were very, very good at gatekeeping people like Richard Spencer and Nick Fuentes out of the movement, because the DNC, right, the mainstream Democrats, they didn't do that with the far left. They didn't do with the far left what Republicans did with the far right. And now they have these fucking lunatics running the asylum that they can't get rid of because they're like literally integral. They're like in the institutions and shit. See, if you're on the right, you can still disavow people who share the beliefs of a Nick Fuentes or Richard Spencer, because those dudes never managed to get into any positions of powers, positions of powers or whatever. You can't do that if you're like a Democrat. You're a mainstream Democrat. You can't disavow the crazy bread tube types. Those guys are like integral to the party now.
So, you know, I mean, that's the argument that was being made there. But I will not apologize for being a person who walks around the world and looks at very...
People keep talking about, this is what gets me. People keep talking about how there's this civil war going on the right wing between like the mainstream MAGA GOP like Vance and all these fringe elements like Nick Fuentes. And there's really not. It's just a handful of ankle biters who are mad that they can't get inside the club. There really needs, what there needs to be on the left, there really needs to be a civil war of sorts. There needs to be something, because I don't know, this isn't going to endure. This isn't going to carry them into future generations.
Political
what they got going on right now.
And says that with the exception of calling for the restriction of human rights or civil rights, with the exception of trying to eliminate.
Mamdani disavowed Hassan. Well, that wasn't a civil rights sort of situation, because Mamdani, he is an open socialist. He is like, Mamdani is Hassan if Hassan was like competent and and like actually good at politics, right? He's just Mamdani is a higher IQ, more charismatic version of Hassan, who could actually run for politics and win an election on a major platform. That's what he is. He's an openly socialist Muslim, and he didn't need Hassan anymore. So it was very easy for him to disavow Hassan after the controversy with Hassan started with his dog and shit, because I don't need this nigga anymore. I'm about to become the king of New York. He literally didn't even let Hassan in the club. When everybody was celebrating about after the election, Hassan couldn't even get in.
Entire groups or something like that, that there are precious few instances where people are 100.
If America was a Soviet bloc country, after Mamdani won the election, he would have either sent Hassan to a gulag or he would have had him put against the wall and shot. But because we live in a non-Marxist country, the United States, he just got disavowed, and he got to continue being a millionaire socialist streamer.
100% right, and the other side is 100% wrong, right? It all falls somewhere in the middle. Having said that, yesterday I had this great big huge conversation with Cyrus Tellers. It was like an hour long, right? He was one of the channels that was calling me out, right? And so I was like, okay. The whole reason why I did that whole conversation with him is because I felt like he was one of the people who wouldn't immediately demonize me, right? For the purpose of clout or something like that. He would actually let me talk, right? And let me say what I had to say. But one of the points that he brought up is he said, you are a huge content creator. Like when it comes to comic book content creation, I am the biggest comic book content creator in the world. Full stop, right? There is no arguing that.
Damn, 100%.
Bro. I am the biggest comic book.
Let your dick hang a little bit more, bro.
Content creator in the world.
Just swing it around like a helicopter.
And the point that he was making was that there is a measure.
I mean, it's true, but damn.
Of responsibility that comes with, the people that I follow. And I told him, to me, when it comes to following someone like Critical Drinker or Nerdrotic, I didn't really consider that to be endorsing them. Endorsing them would be promoting them, would be telling people, you should go follow them. It would be telling people, you should go watch their videos. It would be telling people, you should, you should support.
You can't say communism in the chat? Really? That's crazy.
Support them financially, right?
Can you say fascism?
Whatever.
Let's get through this. Can you say, okay, which retarded ideology can you spell out in chat? Can you say fascism?
For financial options they have.
Okay, no, you can say communism. Maybe you can't say it with a capital C. Maybe that's what it is.
Basically driving attention and marketing and advertising for them. But simply following them and observing them, I didn't really consider that, to be publicly endorsing them. And he said, yeah, but like some of your followers will people will look at you and they'll be inspired by you. And in that inspiration, they will follow the people that you follow, which I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. Right. And so after that whole
thing, makes no sense whatsoever. Like, what do you mean? Oh, they're going to be a lot of people. They're going to end up joining up with Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker because I happen to follow them on social media. What do you mean?
It's done.
What it was is that he just what it is that he saw that he is the biggest comic book creator on this website, and he wants to recruit him to his cause. That's all this comes down to. And once he said no, then he started calling him a coon and all this other shit and whatnot. And then Rob told him to fuck off.
I'm talking to Mariah last night, and I asked her, you know, what do you think?
Okay, so we can say all of the dumb ideologies in chat. Okay, that's good to know. I'll be honest, I feel like Rob might end up, I feel like two things are going to end up happening if these dudes won't lay off. If they keep coming at bro like this, by the end of 2026, he's going to go through one of two character arcs. He's either going to become way more of a leftist, or he's going to become way more right-wing. Now, not hard right-wing, but like he's going to become moderately right-wing because they won't let him do anything else. They're going to keep going at him until he either becomes a devoted ally or an open enemy. So he's going to have to make a change at some point this year if these niggas don't leave him the fuck alone.
Like, what do you think about that? And she said, well, on one side, you're not in charge of your fans. It's not your...
I've seen this go down several times. When it comes to people like this, they won't stop until either you are assimilated into the Borg, or you have just like publicly disavowed them and just joined the other team. It's going to be one of the two.
Job to provide a...
I mean, you can just like be on your own island. He's big enough. He actually is big enough. He can just like flip off everybody at once and mind his own business. But here's the thing. Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, the people who Ernie and them are calling white supremacists, because they aren't actually white supremacists and they're just like slightly conservative dudes talking about media. They're going to come at this dude all chill. They're going to be like, hey man, what's going on, bro? Why are these people fucking with you? Right? And that's going to play into it too, right?
Moral compass for your fans.
They're going to win him over just by being like cool, regular guys and saying that it's fucked up that these people are calling him slurs just because he doesn't 100% agree with all of their politics.
Right. And to make sure they believe in the right thing, right? That's not your purpose. However, you are, like she was like,
isn't that what they did? Yes, that is exactly what happened with Amaru.
He's right. You are.
And they didn't stop. Even after she did finally disavow ICE, they still did. They kept going because she didn't do it hard enough.
The biggest comic book content.
No, bitch, you need to say those agents need to be killed. That's what you need to say.
Creator in the world. And then she's like, with great power must also come great responsibility, right? So it's an answer that it's a question I'm still trying to find an answer to, if I'm being honest with you guys, right? I don't know how to balance my personal convictions and my personal beliefs that it is necessary and honestly appropriate and level-headed to follow both sides, so long as one side's not calling for the restriction of civil liberties and the outright elimination of any one particular group or anything like that. You know, as long as they're not calling for harm to other people, you know, to be willing to listen to that side. It's listen to both sides, while at the same time recognizing that there are people who do follow me and who do look up to me in some capacity. I'm still trying to find an answer to that question.
Why is every black guy called Ernie nerdy as a fuck? That's because they're called Ernie. And here's something I believe in. This is one of my, I'm not like super into astrology or, you know, the stuff like that, but I do believe in a little bit of mysticism. And one of those forms of mysticism that I do believe in is the idea that names are destiny to a sort of thing, right? If you name your child something, then that child will, in some way, the universe will subtly push them in direction of like the destiny of that name of sorts, right? Like if you call your son Albert Einstein Jenkins, is he going to become a brilliant physicist? No, but he might end up being pretty good at math, right? If you call your son Michael Jordan Stevens, is he going to become a basketball prodigy, especially if he isn't like 6'4", 6'5"? No, but if he's pretty tall, he probably will become decent he probably might become the all-star of his local basketball team or something like that. Which is why I believe that a lot of the problems, I mean, there are too many problems though in the black community, but one of the little subtle problems is you got all these fucking ghetto black moms who name their kids something like Laquarius or Quintashisha, and it's like, well, what destiny is that child supposed to fulfill? You could have named him something like, I don't know, Solomon, and then he might have ended up becoming an academic or something like that. He might have ended up going to Harvard, maybe. Might have ended up becoming wise, but you ended up naming him Lachadarius. So now he's just fucking drinking a 40, homeless on the side of the corner. So I do believe in that to a degree, that names are destiny. So if you name your kid Ernie, he's probably going to end up a nerd. Now that there's a better quality of nerd that Ernie could have turned into, but you know. Oh fuck. Thank you. Thank you for the $10. Communism must be removed from the Democratic Party. Chat won't let me say that, but I had to pay to say that. Pay picking has its perks, I guess. I did not know that. Maybe that's why. Because sometimes I see niggas wilding in King/chat. And maybe it's just whenever I go to a member stream, that's just the case. Maybe if I did member streams, you guys could like just say whatever the fuck you want. I'm not about to like forcefully make you guys watch member streams anyway. I'm just curious. Barely Dare, thank you for $5. All the people who agreed with Ernie are the handful, thousands of unsubs. Now Rob is gonna let them own a part of him forever. Exactly. They already purged themselves. You might as well just let them live wherever the fuck they want to go. Let them do whatever. Let's see. We got DeQuarius, Dearius, Deshaun, LaFonda, Dalan. Oh, like Dalan Sparrow. Jarmichael. The Poles. What Polish people got to do in this? Call your son Isaac Arthur, then he will become president of the International Space Society and has a leading science and futurism channel, and even he references Rob when he mentions comics. Wow. Deshaun, Jafarius, too fast, too Jafarius, President Laquiquisha 07. See, this will never happen. You're never going to see any of these niggas with these weird ass names who are going to make it into office. Even Barack Obama, as exotic as that sounds, Barack is a name found in the Bible.
So, having said all of that, this is the last I'm talking about it. I am not here to rant and rave about politics or my personal worldviews. I'm here to cover comic books, and I am here to shit on the Inhumans.
See how like this nigga looks when the sun starts coming in his face? The sun starts coming in his face. You see how much lighter he's getting?
Because the Inhumans really are trash.
This is how lighting works. For all you niggas in the audience, for all you niggas out there who don't understand how color theory works, don't understand shading, and you probably also don't understand per capita, this is what happens when you change the lighting on somebody's skin. They get darker or lighter.
Like that's all I'm here to do. Peace.
Also, I didn't notice something. Hold on.
Right-wing stuff. They certainly
when did he flip his cap around? His cap was back there. When did he flip it over? When did he flip his cap around? I didn't even know what happened.
Capacity. I'm still trying to find an answer to that question. So.
Okay. He just like refilmed. He refilmed the last 20 seconds and he flipped his cap around. I don't know. Maybe he needed to get in the sun. Maybe he's like, you know what? No, I'm too dark. I'm too dark for this video. They won't listen to me. I gotta bring out super light skin Rob. They'll listen to him, and then they won't bully me over my politics. Anyway, that's the Blerd war. That was the war of the Blerds, and you know it doesn't really answer some of the questions that we may still have. Like, will Ernie allow himself to be bullied by these leftists who just want to use him for their own purposes? Will he stand by being a centrist? Will he let himself be bullied into believing certain things? Or will he take a heel turn and become a right-wing grifter, just like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic and all those other white supremacists? Will he even go to Eric July route and just become a super-duper libertarian coon? I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll revisit Rob later in 2026, because I don't see this going away. I see this getting worse because there's a bunch of TikTok dudes who are still going at him. So we'll have to see. Anyway, just a short little stream, guys. Was it short? Was it actually short? It was 3 hours. I mean, I guess that's short. That's short-ish, I guess, for us. Anyway, I have another stream that we'll do later with EVS. EVS, he had a debate. He had a debate with a Rippaverse fan, and I wanted to go through that, but it was like an hour long, and they brought on Vito for some fucking reason, so we'll have to do that one later. I'm working on a video right now, so that's taking my full focus. It will be out this month, hopefully within the next week. I'm pretty much done with the research phase, and I'm working on a script right now. I should have it done. I can bang it out in a week, you guys. So that's not short. Well, it's short, you know how it is with me and short streams, quick streams, whatever. Anyway, just make sure I'm not missing any super chats. And oh, I just remembered. Somebody, I got asked. The guy who super chatted, I missed his super chat last time, asking about that one Nick Fuentes intro to that one stream. I can put that on right now, bro. Hold on, I got you. That's what I'll send you guys out with. That's what I'll send you guys out with. Hold on. All right. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you later.
I'm gay as it comes, pop my cherry with the guy. All my followers say they will rape, kill, and die. Beezer tried to switch it up, but he crawled back and coped. Kanye West fired me, I think it's time to rope. Told the Groypers I quit cause ass crosses are a sin. America first, yay tree, it's got trims from Bangkok to Berwyn. Real queer in my coat and duck boots, I'm looking suspicious. Kanye's dick is delicious, Breaking in the Jaden's room, waving round a black light. If you're in the cozy lobby, you'll be waiting all night. Cause you know I'm always naughty. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Wanna see you grown by Ollie. Give me smiley, give me smiley, give me smiley. When Ollie is in the party, little boys all pull down their pants. Got a glowing crypto, don't know a couple $100 grand. Was snake, but still got my ring kissed by the red-hatted fan. Judas was my best friend, but tried to kiss him at Spider-Man. Started hating women when my sister stole nutrients. Wait until they find that commie whore's only fans. Beardson is my most loyal bulldog, sick of fan. Drugs by Milo had me biting the pillow partition. If you're at the Capitol, break down barriers twice. If you see me or Tyler Russell, pretty please don't call ICE. Got a whiff of James laundry. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Was left out of the Super Bowl party. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Can't stop yapping on about the Model U when it's now been like 10 years. When you're a test tube baby, you end up turning into a queer. Wait for me to start my show, but I'm still seething at my chair. Won't eat anything except McDonald's, I just can't seem to care. Keith Woods is blowing up on X and I'm still seething about it. I'm mad at him because he didn't spurg out like I did. Scanned my viewers, got fired and said that I still worked with Ye. I lied and said I quit because vulture lyrics were not okay. Breaking in the Jaden's room, waving round a black light. If you're in the cozy lobby, you'll be waiting all night. Cause you know I'm always naughty. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Wanna see you grown by Ollie. Give me smiley, give me smiley, give me smiley. Oh, get boy, get me. Oh, yellow Kathy. 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 If you're at the Capitol, break down barriers twice. If you see me or Tyler Russell, pretty please don't call ICE. Cause I love my squatty body. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Was left out of the Super Bowl party. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Breaking in the Jaden's room, waving round a black light. If you're in the cozy lobby, you'll be waiting all night. Cause you know I'm always naughty. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Wanna see you grown by Ollie. Give me smiley, give me smiley, give me smiley.